Okay, so finally.
Yeah.
So how you doing, guys?
Good, man.
Good, very good.
So I'm gonna just let you know what the urban athlete is. It's a concept me and a couple of friends started it in Lebanon. It's basically a platform to shine the spotlight on sports because it's not a big topic in Lebanon because there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can do it. We can do this with you. We did it with Lebanese guys in Lebanon and Arab guys, mostly living in Lebanon. So that's a new concept with you guys because you're basically Lebanese Canadian. Some of you guys were born and raised here, and Jad, you told me you were.
Yeah, I
you
was
moved
born
in
here, but I moved to Lebanon at a very, very young
as a
age.
kid. Yeah, so we got the born and raised here, the moved in as a kid, and the alien or
Yeah.
immigrant. Or so we're gonna start with like a little backstory for. I just want to let you be yourselves and introduce yourselves. Just a little backstory. You can,
Yes.
Aiemann.
Okay,
Please.
guys. My name is Aiemann Zahabi. I'm born in Canada. I was raised by my parents who moved from Lebanon just before the Civil War. As it was breaking out in the 70s, they moved here. My oldest brother, Ahmed, he was born in Lebanon. I think he was 1 year old and a little bit by the time they decided to move. My second brother, his claim to fame is he was conceived in Lebanon, and my mom traveled by plane here with him inside, and he was born in Canada like a few weeks later. So made in Lebanon, born in Canada. It's a different hybrid. And yeah, my father put us at a young age to learn martial arts so that we wouldn't get bullied in high school while we were living in Canada. He wanted us to learn how to protect ourselves. And then we fell in love with it and we really got into it. And my brother ended up taking over a TriStar gym and became the owner of the gym. And I ended up fighting professionally. And now I'm a current UFC fighter.
Hello, my name is Charbel Azar, and I was born in Canada. My parents moved here in 2001. I was born 2000. Sorry, they moved here in 2000. I was born here in 2001, and I got into MMA at 16, and I just wanted to lose weight. Now I'm currently training at TriStar, and I'm an amateur fighter, hoping to become a professional fighder someday in the future.
Yeah, I'm sure you can do it, bro.
Yeah. Soon to be.
I mean, still some weight to lose.
Yeah.
You look great. You look great.
We're on the way.
Like I had the same backstory almost,
Yeah.
but I was born in Lebanon.
Yeah.
That's the shitty part.
You didn't get the Canadian passport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Jad Abou Rjeily. I was born in Canada and I moved to Lebanon when I was 6 months old. I lived there till about 8.5 and came back here. A little bit the same story as him. I started martial art because I was a little bit fat and I was tired of being the fat one. Unfortunately, it didn't help. I stayed fat when I started in a little gym in Laval doing MMA when I was 16, and then I stopped for close to like 4 years because there was an incident that happened, and when you're young, it's your parents that pay and stuff like that. They help you, and my dad decided to not pay anymore because of the incident, and I got into Jujitsu a little later, around like 20. Started training at a gi gym in the West Island. And maybe a year before the pandemic, I actually saw Firas at a sushi shop in Laval, and I went and I fanboyed. I was like, "Oh my god, I love you! Yeah, I follow all your stuff and everything." And he's like, "Come do a free week." So he gave me a free week at TriStar.
You were a white belt?
No, I was already blue belt.
Okay.
I was training pretty often, honestly. But he told me like, "Yo, come do a free week." And as soon as I went there, I got my ass kicked, and I was like, "Yeah, something's got to change in my jiu-jitsu." And
good. I mean, you could have went the other way.
100%, I could
Could have went, oh shit, I'm not coming back here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's good.
yeah, exactly. I feel like having Lebanese parents and having Firas is very homecoming.
Yeah, it's kind of cultural if you
Yeah,
if you wanna,
exactly.
If you wanna put it
Yeah,
that way.
yeah, like the tough love and also the straightforward, no bullshit. He
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
lie. He's very blunt. Like he tells you what's on his mind all the time, and I feel like that's what I gravitate to since this is the environment I grew up in.
Yeah, I feel like that's the most important aspect to coach someone Like you just have to be straightforward with them.
Yeah.
Like you see a lot of guys fighting, let's say, I don't know, like any martial art, like let's say in between rounds, and the coach says, you're winning this round. Like, no, you're not winning this round. You should be straightforward with your fighter.
Yeah.
Like if you're losing your fight, this round, you should say like you're losing this round. If you're winning, you should say you're winning.
Yeah.
So it's a whole different perspective, I guess.
You guys would know more since you guys are MMA fighters, but I feel like Firas, he's very objective in his approach. He's
Yeah,
not
for
really
sure.
subjective. He doesn't, oh, you won this round, this round. He tells you exactly what you did, especially when you hear, and when
Yeah.
you watch the UFC and you hear him
Yeah.
talk, you see like, okay, he's very tactical. It's not very emotional based. He's more like, yalla, like, this is what we have to do. This is what you did. This is what he did. This is what you do to counter what he
Like
did.
a simple breakdown.
Yeah, because you only have a minute, bro. I can't sit here and give you a book and tell you, oh, you're so good, this, that. No, you have a minute and we have to go back.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
remember
You have to
my
cover
first my first amateur fight. It was at the Scratch Laval actually here, and I go out there. I'm doing great, you know. I come back in the corner. I sit down. Frost slaps me 3 times. Boom, boom, boom. Like, what? He's like, you did amazing. Go back in there. Do it again. I do good. I get slapped. I do bad. I get slapped. You know, that's the Arab way.
That's
Doesn't
how I
matter.
relate.
Congratulations. You did
Yeah.
great. Do it again.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the slap before the fight, like my coach in Lebanon when I fought amateur, you know what they put the
Yeah.
headgear in striking.
I saw that, bro.
Yeah, like he's wrapping the headgear on the back of my head, and he slapped the
Yeah.
headgear. I went here with a concussion. I wasn't concussed,
No,
but I
yeah.
was like, okay,
But it's good. It's better to be concussed
go easy,
before.
bro. Yeah, yeah,
You walk in with the symptoms. Don't develop the symptoms during the fight.
yeah. For real. So, when did you guys know that you want to do this for a living or for a huge part of your life? Because you're not doing it as a hobby, obviously. So
Well, it starts off as a hobby.
yeah, that's the thing.
I mean, and then I guess it depends. The better you get at something, the more you like it. All right. So at first, obviously, when you're a white belt, it's hell. Like that's what I was telling with Jad. Like when you face the adversity, there's 2 options. A lot of people, they walk away, they never come back. That's why most people, they never even get the blue belt. Right? They come in, they do a little bit of jiu-jitsu, they never come back. And then, but if you do stick to it and you get really good and you go up the ranks and then you realize what it takes to be that good, then you tell yourself, oh, maybe I should compete, you know, building all this confidence, things are going well. Then you go, you may win or lose your first tournament, and how you take that, like it's really going to help build your process. For me, what it was I started off just as a hobby so that I can defend myself on the streets. And I was starting to get really, really good. And then people started asking me for advice. And I said, okay. So I started helping people. Then better and better people were asking me for advice, and to that point where I was like really young and I was cornering guys in the UFC at like 21. I was like, man, it's like, if I can help these guys, maybe I can do it.
Mhm.
So I had a meeting with Faraz. I'm like, listen, let's take a break from school. I'm going to leave university, try to go pro. If we don't make it before 30, we're done. School is always going to be there. And
Yeah.
Faraz was like, yeah, okay, let's take a chance.
You could try it.
And then I got my contract like 29. I just made it.
Good,
Just
man.
made my contract deal with Faraz, and my UFC came together. Thank
Good,
God.
good.
So that's kind of how it went for me.
I couldn't imagine you at 30 at Concordia doing a philosophy.
Yeah, I was gonna have to go back.
What were you doing in university?
I was doing accounting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like my idea was like, I'm gonna do something super risky, which is MMA, and something super safe, which is
Yeah.
accounting. Like, you're never gonna like no one's ever gonna say, oh, we don't need an accountant.
No.
You're always gonna have a job.
Yeah.
yeah.
So I went something super safe. I was doing well in school. I didn't leave school because I was doing bad, but I decided, you know what, I'm only gonna be young once. So if you're gonna roll the dice, you gotta do it in your 20s. I didn't want to roll the dice at 30.
Right.
yeah.
You know, so I rolled the dice early, and then that way, if I really messed up, I can catch up
Mhm.
later. So
Yeah,
that's kind of my thought process.
Kind of what happened with me as well. So I started training and university at the same year,
Yeah.
at the same time, basically.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. So I continued my bachelor's degree and I started competing. And so basically, there are times that I was skipping finals and exams just to go compete. Like if I had a competition,
Like the
let's
story
say,
of my life.
yeah.
I think I didn't show up to one final.
Plus, I abused the shit out of it to the teachers.
Yeah.
Like one time, I went to Thailand for a camp, just a camp, not a fight. So for like 3 weeks, and I had a midterm exam in accounting actually. And I told the teacher, "Listen, I'm gonna go compete in Thailand." And she said, "Yeah, give me a gold medal. I'll give you a C." I was
Nice.
like, okay, I wasn't gonna pass account. I majored in computer science,
Okay.
so I was bad at accounting.
Yeah.
So I went to Thailand for the camp. I came back. I grabbed a medal from home, a gold medal.
Oh.
I told, Here's your gold medal. And she
Smart
gave me
guy.
a C.
Awesome.
Smart guy. I would have done the same. I would have bought one in Thailand. I bought $5 a medal.
Yeah,
Give
for real,
me
man.
a C minus. No.
Yeah, like I just want to pass the exam.
Yeah, it was pretty similar to me too. I kind of quit school twice. I quit school, came back, quit again.
College or just like high school?
I got
Because it's a different system than in Lebanon. So.
so I got kicked out of college my first year.
Okay.
That's why.
It was like how do you say it?
Behavior.
Behavior.
Behavioral issues.
I had behavioral issues. Yes, I would get into a lot of trouble. I was a very hyped up kid, so
Okay.
I would get into a lot of trouble, and my grades started to go down. So I got kicked out because of an incident, and I was like, no, like, okay, school is done for me. I'm gonna go work with my dad. My dad has a coffee shop, and I was working there since I'm like 11. So I was like, okay, I'll just work in the coffee shops, and I'll take over the business when I. But I really hated my life working in the coffee shop. It was the worst. It's at Tim Hortons, so you see a lot of people, and sometimes you don't get treated the right way by the clients, and you have like Lebanese blood. You're like a fiery guy, so
And it's like
Sometimes
almost
the
always a rush.
always a rush, and
Yeah.
people always talk to you like. Not always, obviously, you have good clients, but the majority of people, when they're in a rush, like they talk to you fast, they don't have patience. So I just didn't want to do that in my life. So I went back to college. I got all my credits. I applied to university, all while I was training, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, honestly, maybe a year and a half into university, I saw that I was just wasting my time. I would sit in class, open up instructionals, and watch
Okay.
jujitsu
Yeah, yeah.
instructionals in class. I would waste my time, you know. So I spoke to my dad. I told him, look, like this is my passion. Jiu-jitsu is my passion. It's hard to make it, but I feel like if I put my mind into it, I can do it. And props to him. You know, he adapted. He was obviously, we all have Lebanese dads. You know how they
Yeah,
are.
of
You know,
course.
like, are you crazy? Majnoon, big shit. Shouldn't بده يروح يعمل like this, that, the third. But I think when he saw the dedication, like he saw me like, okay, like I wake up every morning, I go to train, I come back, I teach privates, then I go at night, I train again. Like I'm not partying, I don't go out, I don't drink, I don't, and it's not even a religious thing. Like my parents are Christian and everything. Like I just don't drink, I don't
Yeah.
party, I don't.
Because it's bad for your body, baby.
He wants to get up and train.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like I remember when the time that it clicked to me that I couldn't party and go out too much was there was training at 12 at TriStar, and it was like 38 degrees. And I had went to Picnic Electronique on Sunday. And I was like boom, boom, dancing, everything. And then I show up to training and I have the worst training ever. And you know, Firasi like sits in the red room and he's watching everybody. And he sees me get fucked up, you know, and he's like, what's wrong? You're tired? You're not performing like you usually do. I'm like, no, I went out yesterday. He's like, why you go out? If you go out, you're not good at jiu-jitsu. You gotta be good at jiu-jitsu. I'm like, all right. And since then, I don't really drink. I don't party. Of course, I have friends
Yeah, of
over and
course,
stuff
yeah.
like that, chilling and everything. But
You're not abusing it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's how I got into being more serious in jiu-jitsu. I feel like when you're around serious people, like I've met these two at TriStar, you know, and he was very younger, a lot younger, and he was a lot older, and they had more both of them had more dedication to the sport than I did. So it was very eye-opening. I was like, okay, if this guy is younger and this guy is older, and the age is not an excuse, like I just have to do it, you know.
Yeah, you get different perspective from everyone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's nice that we have a melting pot at TriStar.
Yeah.
We have people from everywhere, bro.
Yeah.
Like different parts of the world, different social status, different, and everybody is as dedicated and push each other to be more dedicated than the other. And I feel like that's what helped me get to the point where I am now. I'm not saying I'm far from being the best version of myself, but I'm trying to be, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
That's
You're
the thing,
targeting this.
that's the thing about TriStar. If you start slacking off, everyone there is gonna write you.
Right,
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
gonna and give you shit for not showing up,
Yeah.
for showing up and not performing.
Yeah.
So that's the really cool thing about TriStar. Everybody's just constantly pushing each other forward.
You remember I did some sparring. I got into the vibe of like sparring once or
yeah.
twice a week. And then I stopped. And then Chad was like, "Shoo, wait, no more sparring?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "Why no more sparring?" I'm like, "Ah, shit." Then I came back the next week. I was like, "All right, let's spar a little bit," you know?
Listen, I'll give him a break. He's dedicated to the pure art of jiu-jitsu, so that's fine. You know? But,
That's okay with it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Chad. I really appreciate
yeah, I
it.
miss sparring him though. That was fun.
It was fun, honestly.
It was.
It's cool that we go to an MMA gym. I
Yeah,
feel
you
like
can do a
it's
lot
really
of things.
cool.
Yeah.
Like you get to, even if I show up early to practice, I get to watch like a UFC event every day.
Yeah.
Like a bunch of pro fighters, Xavier, him, so many Arnold Allen, Mendel, they spar you. You can literally sit there and watch and
Yeah,
have a
it's
show.
basically like the big leagues.
It's
a
crazy,
fight.
bro. Yeah, it's crazy. It's very, very, very fun, and I feel very blessed to be a part of this and to be able to do my own thing and within that family is a big blessing for me. I'm very appreciative of it.
It's funny he mentioned the sparring like it's a UFC event, and I'll be sparring myself, and then I'll be in the cage while Aiemann, Louis Sandakis, X, and a bunch of other guys are sparring. I'll be like watching the side of my eye, you know. It's crazy. Like, you see some crazy rounds with these guys sparring, man.
Yeah.
It's really cool. It's
One
really cool
day
to see.
you'll be a UFC and people
So-
are gonna watch from the corner of the IU.
Yeah.
Swinging.
Tell us, what made you commit?
To this. I wanted to fight after I went to my first event. I had already been training for like a year or two, and I went to my first amateur event. I had a friend that was fighting.
Was it MMA or striking?
MMA. It was an MMA event. It was MFL, Montreal Fight League.
Yeah.
And I went and I watched my friend get absolutely obliterated.
Oh man.
But it looked fun. Like I wanted to I wanted to get in there. Look,
Oh, man.
just because it happened to him, it couldn't happen to me.
At that point, you've done training or none?
Yeah, I had
Oh,
been
okay,
training for a year,
Okay,
year and a
okay.
half, but it was just to lose weight. It wasn't anything
Okay.
serious. After I watched it, like I started going every day. I didn't skip a single day. And then a few months later, I told my coach I want to fight, and I ended up having my first amateur fight at 18. I won by first round knockout, so like it didn't even like feel real. Like it was just 40 seconds, it was over. But the time I knew I wanted to turn pro was after my second fight. I lost a decision, and it just motivated me so much to get better because I never wanted that to happen ever again. You know.
Yeah, just like you said, like there's two types of people. Some people quit. Some people like they want to move on forward with the just
Yeah.
like this.
They want to
Like,
get
if
it
you-
back. They want to improve themselves.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
exactly.
It's two
I still
different
wanna get it
mentalities:
back.
growth mindset and fixed mindset.
But I feel like this sport is also nice because some people quit and then they grow as a human and then they come back.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
I feel like
happens
that's
too.
really like I opened up a little gym in Laval too, and I have a big reach in Laval. I went to a lot of colleges. I went to a lot of stuff. Like I met a lot of people in Laval, and one of the guys I started jiu-jitsu with, he quit. He did a tournament, he lost, and he was at a low point in his life. He didn't know what he wanted to do, and he quit. Then he went back to university. He started getting his life together. He found a good job. You know, like things started to add up. And when I opened up the gym, he came back to like maybe try it out or start training again.
Recent,
And
yeah.
recently, like 3 months ago, bro. And he's there every day, bro.
Nice.
And he competed at the last SAU in Montreal. He lost. He took it on the chin. He, compared to the first time he lost to this time, like this time he motivated him. Because I think he's at a better place in
Yeah.
life. He's surrounded by more love, more positivity, more like people supporting him. And I feel like that made him want to like, you know what? Shit happens, bro.
Yeah.
You're going to lose some, you're going to win some. The outcome is already determined. You can't really change that. You just can change your preparation, you know? And I feel like that's what's cool about this sport. Like you can't quit basketball and come back to basketball. Like
Yeah.
you can't quit any sport and come back to it. But martial arts, I feel like it's a sport that you can always come back to it once if you feel ready to do it, you know?
Plus, there's a lot of benefits to doing martial arts.
Yeah.
Like a lot.
A lot, yeah.
Like the first thing is it's a huge stress relief.
Yes.
You know, and
Yeah.
it makes you more disciplined, more calm. If you're let's say an angry person or have behavioral issues, it makes you more.
Aiemann, he's a legend in Shamati, bro.
No. I'm very relaxed now.
Yeah, I feel like all three of us were probably, maybe all four of us also. I feel like we were probably prone to be more hyperactive people, like how we have high energy, we confident guys, you know, like if something needs to humble us.
Yeah.
It's good to have something to humble you and realize, not neglect the fact that you're confident and believe in yourself, but maybe zone it towards something a little bit.
Channel it.
Yeah, less
basically.
arrogant, more confident. You know,
Yeah.
it's a very thin line between the arrogance and confidence. I
Exactly.
feel like doing martial art, it keeps you right on that line. You know.
And also, training twice a day kind of just tires you out.
Yeah.
You don't get the energy to go out at night and just do some bullshit.
Yeah,
you know,
true, true.
Start some fights or just go crazy and do some.
Yeah,
make some
somebody cuts you
mistakes.
off. You're like, oh,
Yeah, you
it
just-
is what it is.
Go
bro.
ahead, go ahead.
Exhausted.
I already sparred this week.
Yeah, that's what you say, but deep down you're like, you fucking piece of shit.
Got the fiery blood.
Yeah, exactly. I remember a funny story talking about that. Once I was telling Firas, like, yeah, you know, like I have a lot of road rage and everything, and I thought he would tell me like, it's okay, calm down, everything. He's like, somebody cut me off once. I came down the guy, I told him, come here. I'm like, oh shit.
What?
I'm like, okay, okay, coach, I'll try to not. He's like, don't disrespect me. You can't disrespect big car truck. He was so confident in his truck. I told him, come out of your truck. He didn't come out of his truck. I was like, that's what I thought.
He did the best thing not to come out.
Yeah,
of the truck.
exactly. I think he recognized him. He probably saw
Yeah,
like,
probably.
wait, I know this guy's shit. Let me leave right now.
Actually, they did a commercial on road rage with Evander Holyfield.
No way.
Oh,
I didn't
yeah?
know one.
Yeah, it was like a couple of years ago where the guy started honking.
He's the boxer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the guy that Mike Tyson
Bit
his,
the ear off. Yes.
So a guy started honking at him and stuff. He had a tainted windows, so he pulled over and he came down from the car like okay,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
Yeah,
fuck with you.
6'4"
Yeah.
black dude who boxes. You're like, all right, man.
You don't want the smoke.
Yeah, exactly.
exactly.
Yeah, it's true. If you train a lot, you kind of reduce your anxiety and all that energy to do bad things.
Yeah,
He has a good point on that.
I'm just
Plus-
tired, man. After training, I just want to go home and lay down.
I just want to sleep.
Yeah. So it's not. The thing is, it's not just like the one training a day or the two training a day that you do for a week. It's like week after week, month after month. You just
Yes.
do that constantly, especially if you fight consistently. Then you're constantly in the gym or constantly training for a fight. Man, you just don't have the energy to do anything else.
Yeah, you're not just doing it for like a let's say a week or a couple of weeks. You're just doing it your whole life.
It's a
basically.
lifestyle. Yeah.
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 So you do a camp, you fight, you rest like I don't know a week or two or a month, I don't know.
Well, also,
Then you came back. Then you come back.
I feel like having a family is very important too.
Yeah, I
You
was
know,
gonna
like-
talk about this since you
Yeah?
have
Yeah, I
a
feel
lovely
like
twin.
you having a family, it makes you like more centered, no? Like you know, you have to provide. for-
Those rats live with me.
Yeah,
I don't live with them.
They better listen.
Yeah. My life was always pretty structured. Like I always tried to keep my life in order to be able to reach the top. Like you can't reach the top if your life is just chaos. Like it's so many things can go wrong in the sport already. Like
Right.
whether MMA or jiu-jitsu, like so many things can go bad. To have an unstructured life, it's hell. It's just you're adding the probability of losing and the probability of messing things up so much more.
Yeah.
So it's important that you have a good structured life and you take care of the things that you have to, and you have a support system to be able to fund your training, because training is not cheap,
Yeah.
and you're gonna be poor for a long time. I mean, it's normal to be poor.
Yeah.
It's normal to not have enough, but it's good to live within your means throughout your build up, so that way when you have something, you don't lose it.
Mhm.
So that's really important. So you see a lot of these fighters in MMA. You see it a lot that in MMA it takes so long to make money. In jiu-jitsu, probably even longer. Okay. That when you have money, they're much more likely to keep it than some other sports. Like other sports, like you see, you get the big money early. Let's say 21 in basketball, boom, all of a sudden you're a multimillionaire.
100%.
There was a great documentary made on football athletes who made the NFL, because their average NFL career is something like 3 years.
Yes, sir.
And they cut you because then after 3 years, they have to pay you a retirement.
Yes.
So before 3 years, they fire you, so they don't have to pay your retirement.
Yeah.
Sneak.
There's a great documentary. It's called Broke. And they interview a bunch of NFL players who got cut before the 3 year
I love that
mark and whatever.
documentary.
Incredible. And one of them was talking about how he was making $57,000 a week. Every week he gets a check, 57,000. And every week, every week he would spend it. Every week he'd spend his check. And they cut him just before his 3 year contract. So he makes the retirement funds. So he can make money for the rest of his life. They cut him. So he received his last $57,000 check. And he's driving home. And the guy's got like 4 or 5 kids. Okay. And the H1 Hummer just came out. And it's for sale. 54,000.
You bought it.
He walked in, he bought it, boom, spent 54 out of his $57,000. It was the last check he had. He has no job. You know, and he spent his money. I just feel like, listen, yeah, it's not glamorous in MMA like NFL where you make your money at 21, but the struggle of taking your time to make it, and when you make your money at 30 or 29 or 31, You have a lot more brains. Like I had my wife. I had just I got my second fight in the UFC 2 weeks after my wedding. You know, so it's like my life was just I was just making my life, and the money was just starting to come in, and now I'm making more money than before, and my life's already structured. I don't go out and spend it,
No.
but I'm also 35 now. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? So
yeah.
I made my money, and I have my house, and I have my life structured. So it's kind of good in a way that I didn't make it all at 21 because maybe I would have blown it all. I don't know. And the average UFC career is 2 fights. You know, it's nothing. So in your first 2 fights, you make no money. So to build that career, it takes a long time. So most guys end up in the UFC, they're fine. Like the guys who actually have a decent career in the UFC, they retire pretty good.
Yeah.
Like the average guy, average UFC guy is doing well. So it's a good thing and a bad thing that you don't get too much money too early. So even for you guys, like when you guys are gonna make it, you're gonna have been poor for so long. Having money is gonna be good.
You appreciate it more
Yeah, I
too.
appreciate it way more.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
appreciate
You
it
know,
way more.
like you have maybe more of a dollar value.
Yeah.
If you
You
didn't
understand
have
the dollar.
exactly. If
You understand the dollar.
that was a big problem with me too. Like you know, when you come from Lebanon, you're like poor, but having a Lebanese dad, like he never made you feel poor.
yeah, exactly. That's
He
good.
would like he wouldn't have money, and we would go, and he would never make you feel like he doesn't have money. You know.
Yeah.
And alhamdulillah, like he worked hard for his my dad worked very hard for his money, very, very hard. He came here, he had no dollars. He bought a taxi, worked taxi 20 years, sold the taxi, bought a Tim Horton, refinanced the Tim Horton, bought another one, and now he's a very successful businessman. And having that as an example, seeing somebody like struggle with not even struggle, seeing somebody make something out of his life in front of you, it
Out of
kind of like
nothing.
it kind of like motivates you, like, okay, anything is possible, bro. Like if this Lebanese guy came from Lebanon with $40 and now he lives in a two garage house in Shamadi, big house, travels 3 times a year. Of course, he's Lebanese, so he's always gonna have a negative point of view on his country. But when you sit down with him and you talk to him, you see like the growth, you know, like you see him like
You see the struggle.
the struggle
basically,
that he went through, and it's very different than seeing somebody who got rich very early.
Yeah.
And then you see him at like 40, he doesn't have the value of money. Like me, even when we had money, 5 o'clock in the morning, I have to be at Tim Hortons.
Mhm.
If I wasn't at Tim Horton at 5 in the morning, I had a foot up my butt. Like, sure,
Get
why
your
not?
ass up.
He's already up. 4:30, he's already up. You know, and I feel like that structure is very relatable to martial arts, because you have to have a schedule. You have to know when your training is, when your rest time is, when your family time is, when all that. So I feel like that really helped me. Even if the beginning I was rebellious, I feel like when like I stopped being stupid and realized like, okay, my dad, he knows what he's talking about. I have to listen. I feel like that really helped center my life. You know, knowing like, okay, don't spend all your money. Just because you live in the basement and you don't have bills to pay now, you're eventually going to have bills to pay. So start saving money now. Be smart with it. Don't just live a lavish lifestyle that you can't afford. You know, it's not because your parents have money that you have money. You know, stuff like that really made me realize the value of money. You know, and I feel like when you're young and you're like 20 and you sign a basketball contract and you make $150 million in 5 years, you kind of lose your touch with reality.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I wake up on Thursday, I get my check, $240,000.
Yeah.
And shoot,
It's nice.
it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's beautiful.
But most
if you-
guys didn't know what to do with it after.
But me, if
Yeah.
I'm 20 and you gave me
Yeah,
a check
exactly.
of 250,000, I don't know if I would get the other check. I would probably be dead. I would go travel,
Yeah,
do
yeah,
some stupid
for
shit,
sure.
you know. Like, whereas now I have a mortgage to pay. Like, I have a house, me and my girlfriend. I don't have kids, but I have like a big dog. I have a cat. I have responsibilities to take
Pretty
care
much
of. I have,
That dog's pretty much a kid.
He's probably heavier than any kid you've ever seen in your life, you know. And you have hydro bills, this, that, the third. So you have to have somewhat of a structure financially, you know. And the financial support, like Aiemann was talking about, is super important,
Yeah.
because first of all, training is expensive, and then competing is expensive, and then traveling is expensive, and then you couldn't compete in Montreal.
Breathing is expensive.
Yeah, literally oxygen is, and plus in jiu-jitsu in Montreal was illegal for 7 years in Quebec. So
You have to travel.
I have, yeah,
No
I
choice.
have to pay like there's a 1 year in during the pandemic, I spent like over $11,000 in travels And bro, like $11,000. Okay, but what? Okay, like it's a lot of money, bro. It's my
Bro,
homework.
the
It's,
competitions aren't really paying you much either.
I'm
It's
not
like you're
making
going
$0.
Yeah, exactly. You're going there to compete, but there's no like $20,000 prize.
Zero.
Most
Exactly. So
most of the time you have to pay to
you're
compete.
paying to compete.
Yeah, I'm
so
paying
it's
to
expensive.
compete. Exactly. The only reason you do it is to better yourself as a
Yeah.
martial artist, so that eventually, like when I open up a school, like when I did open up the school, I had over 200 matches, jiu-jitsu matches and MMA matches, very different. But at least I competed a lot. I have something to bring to the table. If you have questions regarding competitions, I did it.
You've been through it all.
Yeah. I went to like the highest level of competition I could go to as the jiu-jitsu guy that I was, and I feel like that really helps bring notoriety to the gym, but it costs a lot of money, man. And having a foundation, like a support system,
Yeah.
my dad, my mom, no matter how tough they are, bro, actions speak louder than words. So even if he tells you, shut your mouth, you fucking stupid kid, and then he goes and supports you to go fucking travel the world and gives you off of work, and he's like, yeah, don't worry, don't come in for the next 3 weeks, go to Austin, train for 5 weeks, compete, and then come back, your job is going to be here. Like, that's very important, and I'm very aware of that, and that's why I'm very grateful, because I know I couldn't have done anything without them. Like, zero, nothing.
Yeah, like they know what's better for you.
They know what's better for you,
not
and
good.
they love you.
Yeah.
And they having a loving, supporting family is one of the most important thing, I think, for a successful person in general.
It's a blessing, to be honest, because you see a lot of people, especially in Lebanon, like, I want to do this, but my parents won't let me. Like, you're a grown ass man. Like I have a friend who said, like, once I got this tattoo, he said, "Oh man, I want to get a tattoo, but my dad would kill me." Like, what the fuck, man? You're like 25 years old.
Yeah.
So you're supposed to make your own choices. I mean,
I get that, to be fair.
like, of course you're supposed to respect your parents, but you should be your own man. You should make mistakes. You should make your own decisions, and not just. I was talking like I just gave an example about tattoos. But
For me, it's like the support system. I'm in it right now. Like I still live at home with my mom and dad, and Lebanese culture, they don't want you to move out until you get married.
Not, even when you get married, move in, bring your wife. Right? They all live together, no? We are the kings of triplexes.
You're right.
Every generation, one floor.
You're right. You're right. Us and Italians. I
Yeah.
feel like Italians have
They
that
do that
too.
too. They do it big time, man.
Big
yeah,
time.
it's really it's
Smart.
It's
There's
super
nothing
normal.
wrong.
in
It's
Lebanon.
genius. It's a genius plan.
Yeah,
But
then
go
you
ahead.
Yeah, it's I'm in that support system right now, and at the beginning, I remember I booked my first fight without telling my parents I was planning on fighting, because like I had mentioned it in passing. My dad's like, you're gonna fight, yeah, okay. Some fat 16-year-old kid wants to fight, and so I booked it, and my dad's getting, you're gonna fight. But then they made the poster, and I showed my dad, and then he's like froze for like a good minute just looking at it. And afterwards, he posted it. He's like, "My son, the warrior, he's gonna fight." That's when they start supporting,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's after like I took the initial steps. My dad didn't want me to go into it, and I understand why, because it's kind of a crazy career choice. You're gonna go fight for money, like what's
There's
the
literally something wrong with you.
yeah, exactly. That's my point of view. Like,
Yeah.
I agree. I think something's wrong with both of them.
Yeah, all of us. Yeah.
like I think if you want to do this professionally or even long-term amateur, you have to have like a screw loose or something. Like
You got to be somewhat delusional.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I feel like you got to be somewhat delusional to make it in anything, though.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
feel like the guy who
Yeah.
made Amazon had to be delusional. He was
Yeah,
sitting in a
people thought he
fucking
was crazy.
office with Amazon written on the wall, and he's like, "This company is going to be worth $4 billion, $10 billion." People are like, "Look at this."
Yeah.
He has an office.
He's
He creates
crazy,
this company.
yeah.
Yeah, he's going to ship stuff to other people. People are not going to go shopping in malls. Is he crazy? This guy? Now look, I don't even put my foot in the mall. Anything I want, Amazon. Yalla, ship.
Shout out
Yeah.
Amazon. I actually delivered to his house once.
Yeah.
How do you deliver to
Yeah,
him?
I swear to God, bro. Because I have a Ring camera, so but there's motion in front of your door. Motion in front of my door. It's fucking 4 o'clock in the afternoon. At 8 o'clock, it was hard. It was at
Yeah.
night. It was like 8 o'clock at night. I'm motioning my front door. 8 o'clock at night. Nobody come. I'm a very lone wolf. Like at night, nobody come. Like if you come, it's on Sunday we chill. But Thursday night, 8 o'clock, motion in front of my house. I start panicking. It's dark. I open. See guy long hair. I'm like, fuck, bro. This guy's gonna. Then I zoom in, bro. He's there like this. And the Ring camera.
Got your package.
Yeah, exactly. You want it? You want it? I'm like, oh, shut up.
You knew that was him, right?
Yeah, yeah, I
Before-
saw-
He came to my house
Okay,
before. Yeah.
I'd come to train with him. He has a base in his basement. He has a gym.
Yeah.
So we trained there. We're drilling.
I
some
used to
drills.
have the gym. I used to have a lot of mats and wall mats in the basement, because during pandemic, like,
Yeah,
had to
you had to
train.
train somewhere.
yeah, I
Yeah,
had
you
to
guys
train
had
TriStar
it,
was a nightmare.
like it was
yeah.
hard here.
Yeah, the
during
cops are coming all the
pandemic.
time.
every time.
Hell,
Yeah. So I had to do something to do some training at on off hours, you know, and a lot of the guys at TriStar would come and get some rolls in. And
Let's hope the government doesn't hear this.
yeah, yeah.
Cut.
This was happening this was last week, guys. Last week,
yeah.
they all came. I built everything, and he had already come. And when he came, I was like, "What the?"
Yeah.
He's in front of the door with the Amazon package. That's how small Laval
I'll
is.
roll you for it.
Yeah, exactly. The first one to tap keeps it.
Yeah. I live like what 10 minutes from each other.
Yeah, yeah.
All that. So
And it's funny to say, like, I knew Aimann's dad way before I knew Aiemann and Firas, because he was a taxi driver too,
Okay.
and my dad was taxi driver, and I would see their dad maybe like once a week, all the
Oh,
time.
okay,
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
I know that.
and
You
my
never
dad
told me
would
that.
always be like, Zahabi, man, his sons, yo, the best. They kick ass, man. They boom, boom, you're dead. I'm like,
Boom, boom.
yeah. And his dad was like so humble. He's like, you know, good guys, don't worry. And my dad was like, oh, so good guys, man. They kill you. I'm like, all right, that change subject, man. Talk about something else, you know.
Yeah. But even my parents, they weren't into it early because they thought Frost was gonna be poor doing the whole thing. Then when he ended up buying it to TriStar and it started making money and whatever, then they were like okay with it. You know, they weren't too
Financial
bad.
support is very important
Yeah,
for a
yeah,
Lebanese
because
family.
they want you to be successful. They didn't come all the way here for you to be poor.
Yeah, they're like, if you want to be poor,
Go
go
be
back
poor,
there.
send you back.
Go back
They
over
can
there.
go back over there.
Yeah, be poor over
you
there.
actually had a chance here. You know?
Yeah,
You have a chance
exactly.
to be to do something with your life.
Yeah.
Compared with in Lebanon, you know, in Lebanon you're born poor. You're pretty much gonna stay poor.
If you want to make it, you're gonna make it like
Elsewhere.
anywhere. Yeah, anywhere. But basically, there's a lot of obstacles in Lebanon.
Yeah.
Like I was gonna talk about this. Like what we used to talk about in the previous episode with the Lebanese guys. Like what kind of obstacles do you face to go train or to do like a fight camp? Because there's not a single fighter in Lebanon who does it for a living.
But,
Like
I mean, but we have a TriStar there with Nassim,
Yeah.
with Wissam.
Wissam Abi Nader, yes. Yeah, I trained there. I trained
Yeah,
there in
yeah.
Lebanon. But there's like every professional fighter has a
Side job.
side hustle.
Actually,
yeah.
they have a job, and the side hustle is MMA.
Yeah,
basically,
exactly.
Yeah. Because that's what I did. Like I coached in Lebanon,
Yeah.
and I coached, let's say, for like 8 hours a day, or I don't
Yeah.
know, 6-7 hours. I trained twice a day. I competed, so you can't live just.
But you
through
finished your
fighting.
studies. You have your
Yeah, I
you-
have my bachelor degree, but it's
And isn't that like
Yeah, exactly.
but isn't that like some kind of support? Like, let's say something goes,
it's like a
everything goes-
safety net.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like if
safety
everything
net.
goes to shit, you have your your
Yeah,
bachelor's,
yeah.
you can go
Yeah.
get a
But
job.
that's the thing. What I majored in is computer science. So computer science, it's like constantly evolving. So
Yeah,
if you're
okay.
not up
Yeah.
to date, you're
Right.
So basically, if I graduated in 2017.
Yeah,
so
you screwed yourself.
Yeah.
You should have graduated in
Yeah.
accounting.
Yeah.
Debit credit is always the
See? Right here, guys. I'm a thinker, boys. I'm a thinker. That's why I'm also the coach.
Yeah.
So,
But now they have fights in the Arab world, no? They do
Yeah, no,
things,
they do,
Wissam
like, they're-
takes guys to go fight.
yeah,
and
the
stuff.
brave UAE,
Yeah, they
your
do
warriors.
fights, yeah.
They even have a
I
pro.
think X is UAE Warrior Champion,
yeah,
right?
the Arabian.
Yeah,
champion.
Xavier
your sparring partner. no?
Alawi.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was a UAE champion, then
Yeah.
he became the UAE Arab
Yeah, exactly.
champion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. You got both.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, there's a lot of pro fighters in the Arab world, especially in Lebanon. But what I was saying is, you can't just fight. You
Yeah.
have to
Yeah,
you have to
yeah.
do something else.
yeah, yeah.
You know, because you're not gonna be.
It's a
fucking
chaotic
Conor
country,
McGregor,
bro.
yeah, making billions of dollars.
Also, I just want to add, I went to the TriStar in Beirut when I went 2 years ago.
Nice. How was it?
Oh man, it's actually insane.
Oh, yeah?
Like, you wouldn't expect that level of facility there. Like it's really
It's
That's
massive.
awesome.
the facility is huge.
Yeah.
It's inside of a country club, right?
Yeah,
or
country club. Mtailib country club.
a Thailand, yeah. It's under it's underground, but man, it's huge, and
Does it have a TriStar feel? Like, do you feel like
all
you're-
the guys are so nice there.
Yeah?
They're so nice. Like I tried to ask like about paying for a membership, and they told me no, you train for free. Like it's no problem. Just train with all the guys. And man, like at the time I was like freshly new to TriStar here, you know. So it's not like I was like even now like I'm not known or anything, but
Man,
like,
no, you're a big dog in TriStar.
I
What
don't
you
think I
talking
am.
about,
You're
bro?
working your way up, buddy. Don't
Yeah,
worry.
yeah,
bro.
it's on the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I was just a random guy, and they all like they welcomed me like in open arms. They brought me to train with them. Even in the all the TriStar guys train also at 10th Planet.
Yeah,
With
Talal?
Talal,
yeah.
yeah.
And
His brother,
his brother too, yeah.
Omar, right?
Yeah, he's
Wolf.
in TriStar.
Yeah.
Yeah. He,
Yeah,
he's
here,
trained with
TriStar
us.
here.
Yeah.
Is he good at jiu-jitsu? I feel like I've never seen him roll.
He's mostly striker, no?
Yeah.
his older brother, he owns the 10th Planet in
Okay,
He's a brown belt, I guess.
Oh, yeah?
yeah.
He's a brown belt.
That's what they do. The jiu-jitsu. They're
Yeah,
grappling. They go there.
all their grappling mostly is over there, and they're pretty good. Like I mean, look, by the time I went there, I was a white belt, so like a blue belt felt like a brown belt to me,
Yeah,
you know.
of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But man, those guys were good. They were really good.
Yeah. The facility there, it's like it's huge. The ceiling's like
Yeah, yeah.
6 meters high.
So they have financial support, is what you're telling me.
kind of like that's the good thing about Lebanon. Once we used to travel for competition, let's say in my background, which is Sanda or Sanchu, they used to like we didn't get paid, but they used to pay for let's say for the hotel for the ticket. Like
That's great.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's good. That's helped you
It's-
get started.
yeah. Like
That's what I think. That's what he means by financial support.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
matter which way, shape, or form you get it from,
It helps.
you need it.
You need
Yeah.
the experience, because the experience is priceless.
Mhm.
So just for somebody to help you get there, do the experience, you come back, you have experience. You know, that's where the support comes. You know.
Yeah, you can't buy experience.
Yeah.
I think that's something
can't
you can't
buy
buy
it.
experience.
buy
You have
it.
to live it.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah.
being able to have a support system to make you live it is very, very. You should be very grateful for that. But on another hand, like I have very close contact. I come from a very small village in Lebanon. It's called Charbel. It's in the Shuf. It's like very small village, bro. So when I talk to my family over there, I realize very, very fast that like you don't only need financial support. You need like a lot more emotional support than here, because here government helps you. A bunch of programs can help you. You work, you hurt yourself, you get paid. There in Lebanon, like there's none of everything I just said doesn't exist, bro.
Yeah.
There's no government funding. There's
It's
no
a jungle. Basically.
yeah. It's like you need to survive.
Yeah.
Like you gotta find a way to survive. Like whereas here, if you're not surviving, it's on you because there's everything possible for you. We pay 50% of
Yeah,
our
crazy.
salary in taxes, so that people who don't work get a check every 2 weeks, $1,000. Like in Lebanon, even if you have $1,000, you can't pull it out of the ATM. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
exactly.
it's so I feel like we should be very grateful to be in this country, and I love my country. I love Lebanon, but like you said, it's a complete shit show. You know, it's very hard to make
Yeah,
it.
especially in the last like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, it's been very,
it's
very
been
hectic,
rough.
you know. So I feel like being here is a complete blessing. I'm going next year. It's the first time I go since in like 5 years. Yeah, I'm very excited.
Yeah, you're gonna be shocked.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But I'm very, like I told you, I'm a very village boy. Like I spend the whole time in the village. Like,
Yeah.
I visit a little bit, but I want to go train. I want to go visit the 10th Planet. I want to go see the MMA scene, the martial arts scene, the jiu-jitsu scene, you know. I want to go, like, it's fun to be in your roots and do what you love. I feel like that's going to be a fun experience for me, you know. I'm very excited for that. I
Yeah,
can't wait.
it's like a different mindset for the fighting game.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Plus, and if you're competing in Lebanon, you're basically fighting the same person. Especially as a heavyweight,
Yeah.
I fought the same guy 7 times.
Oh my god.
Did you
7
beat him
fights.
7 times?
7-0.
Oh, my
Yeah,
God.
haram. He's still fighting?
I don't know, but like he wanted to fight. Like
He's got heart.
before I
He's
came.
got heart.
Yeah.
7 times.
Before
Yeah.
yeah, he's got heart. He's got no brain.
I'm sure after getting hit by you for 7 fights, I wouldn't have a brain.
7
too,
fights,
bro.
yeah, and like each one of the fights, like where I win, they're cheating. Like I'm cheating. I'm paying off the judges. Like come on, bro. We fought Sanda, and the guy like
What's
that's
Sanda?
Sanda.
It's
That's
like-
Tanshu. It's like kickboxing and
But with takedowns.
yeah, with takedowns.
Cool.
But there's no, they don't, they can submit, you can submit like if you do it right away.
No,
No submission whatsoever?
No, no.
Oh, okay, okay.
So you can
So
take
just
the
take
guy
down.
down that gives you
Yeah,
like points.
but you can't shoot on the ground. You can't touch the ground.
Ah, like
It's like
sweeps.
yeah, sweeps,
Okay.
hip throws, kind of
Okay.
like judo.
Judo,
but
Muay
with
Thai
big gloves.
ish.
So yeah.
Oh shit.
So there's a lot of hip throws. There's a lot of
Damn.
foot sweeps.
And what's
that
it
kind of stuff. Sanda.
Sanda.
It's kung fu basically. Wushu
Okay.
Sanda, yeah, or
Okay.
Sanshu.
It's it's like Chinese kickboxing almost.
Yeah, it's Chinese boxing. They call it Chinese boxing. It's really good. A lot of like the Chinese fighters in the UFC, they're all Sanda background.
Okay.
There's a couple of
The guy I
Dagestan.
fought too, I think he did Sanda.
The
The
last
last guy, yeah.
he's Chinese.
He's Mongolian who lives in China.
Yeah, probably he did Sanda.
Yeah.
So it's a fast paced sport. It's really good, but like
Because you have
every
incredible striking, bro.
like every martial art has a
Like
like
when I see
pros
you,
and cons. Yeah.
strength and
like when I see you spar at TriStar, sometimes I saw you spar like professional guys, and the first time I saw you spar, I was like, "What the?" Like you know,
Like,
it
I
You
move
move,
a
you
lot
move
for
light
heavyweight,
for a
yeah.
heavyweight.
Yeah,
Crazy
very supple
light.
for a big guy.
Yeah, that's
Very
crazy.
supple.
For a
yeah,
big
very
guy, it's insane.
supple kicks,
insane.
high
Yeah.
kicks,
Yeah,
hip, everything.
I'm unexpected. Plus, I have this big fat belly. Like people, if you see
Yeah,
a
big-
guy,
Yeah.
if you
It's
see a
more
guy with a
protection,
big belly,
man. It's more protection.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
I know- I'm
More
like that
liver,
experience.
Deliver. It's for
Yeah.
the
Thanks,
liver
man.
shots.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
It takes
from
further to
experience.
get to the liver with all this money belly. That's what my dad used to
Money
tell
belly,
me.
yeah.
He used to- when people call you fat, tell them it costs a lot of money to put all this fat on me. I was like, okay.
My dad says, "Zalame bala kirish ma biso ish."
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
great saying. That's what they all used to tell themselves when they were fat.
Exactly.
It's like
when they didn't want to work out.
yeah, exactly. Work out, but it's crazy. Huh? In Lebanon, if you work out, you're kind of like
Yeah,
weird.
You're weird. Yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
oh, you have 6 pack? What the fuck? It's
Yeah,
like-
I live in a small town near the big city, so I used to go for runs sometimes. And like when I'm running, like the 70-year-old men,
Yeah.
like the old men, they were like playing, they're gambling and stuff. They were
Oh,
standing
yeah,
outside.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
they're smoking. And I'm running like they'd be looking at me like, what is he doing? Why is he running?
Why is he exercising?
Yeah, like it's a whole different perspective on sport.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
there's zero sports education.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yo,
Lebanon.
talking about sports education, my cousin was morbidly obese, and he wanted to get fit. And
He lives in Lebanon.
Here?
yeah, in Lebanon.
Oh.
His name is Samir Mjais. He was morbidly obese, like humongous, bro, almost 400 pounds.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but he's like 6'3", bro, like big dog, like heavy guy, you know. And bro, they have no physical education, right? So he goes to the gym, and this guy's like, "Yo, take this." He gives him like pills. He's like, "Take this. This you take you." Bro, he started taking the pills, shredded. Like 6 months, he loses 150 pounds. This, that, and the third. I'm like, "What's this pill you're taking?" Somebody gave me. I think clenbuterol or something. I'm like, what? He's like, some clen clen. I'm like, what is the fuck here? Then I Google clen, but horse tranquilizer. I'm like, he's on PEDs. Like, he doesn't even know what the fuck he's doing. He's like, yeah, but I'm like, yo, but you're killing yourself. Like, no, man, like, I lost 150 pounds. How am I killing myself? Now, fast forward 3 years later, heart problems, grew fat again, this, that.
Yeah. They want the shortcut. Like they
Yeah.
always want a short.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
short.
and I think what you said is educate. They don't know better.
Yeah.
They
Like,
don't know any better.
It's
You know?
it's changing now. But
Yeah, this I'm talking maybe 7 years.
yeah,
ago.
it's kind of changing now, but it's still kind of new too. Like in Beirut, like when I say Beirut, I mean like the
yeah,
whole
surrounding areas.
areas,
Yeah, of course.
Like it's like the sports education is more. I don't know. Like you have a lot of gyms.
yeah,
Than other.
yeah. Then you travel
cities
an
above.
hour from there, and there's no gyms. There's
Yeah.
barely anything.
Yeah, there's like gym daya.
yeah. Yeah. You lift
walk.
tree logs.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the biceps.
Yeah.
Allah, biceps.
What happens when a Lebanese person makes it to the Olympics? Do they support them? What happens?
I think
I don't know if there's one girl, she made it to the Olympics with the tiro, you know.
Yeah,
The,
yeah.
Oh yeah,
yeah, Ray Basil. Her name's Ray Basil.
in the shooting there.
Yeah,
Shit. Bro.
and I don't know if like there's anybody else that made it to the Olympics.
Bro,
but-
once talking about this.
No,
stuff.
but I mean, like, let's say she goes and she competes. The country is sponsoring her.
Oh
they're
no,
giving
she's
her-
probably living in another country.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
as I was saying before, there's a lot of obstacles, especially the past few years. Like let's say when I was there, like before I came here, the summer before I came here, 2021. So you want to go train. There's no fuel. There's a fuel crisis. There's a electricity
yeah.
crisis. There's the economic crisis.
They got bigger problems than sports. Let me tell you. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
there's
tough.
a lot of obstacles.
Yeah.
Like if you actually make it to training, like you're doing a big achievement.
Like it's
You
a
know?
blessing to make it to the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Especially if there's no oil and stuff like, you're saying.
People has been living on the edge. Like you can't say shit now. Everybody's mad. Everybody's angry. Like people
Yeah.
shooting. People.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
They
it's
have
sad,
nothing,
huh?
man. That's why they're mad.
Yeah.
They're mad because they have nothing, man.
When you have nothing to lose, you take all the risks and you're not scared of it. Yeah, I have nothing to lose. So
Yeah.
even if I kill you, okay, I kill
Yeah,
you.
just like the guys that like a few guys, I don't know, last year they robbed the banks.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
they
I remember
didn't
that.
rob the bank. They just
They
took
their
out
money.
their money.
Yeah.
Because you're
They
robbing
won't let
your
you
own
take-
money.
Yes, they
basically.
won't let you take your money, man.
So there's one with a fake pistol.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
saw
a
that,
lady,
I saw
right?
that.
I saw it on
Yeah.
Twitter. Yeah, that was crazy.
It's weird.
But she's right. She's frustrated, man. She wants her own
yeah.
money.
Yeah, you can't blame
You
them.
know,
No,
you know
no.
what's funny about this subject? Quick. My dad was seen in the Lebanese community as the black sheep because he would never put his money in Lebanon, and all his friends like "Shubek ya Ahmar,
Yeah.
Shoo man, what's wrong with you, bro? Take your money, take 50,000, go down, put it in the bank. And the next year you have 150. Then my dad told me like, some things are too good to be true, Jad.
Yeah.
You can't just go put money and pull out money and you
Yeah,
think the
they're
world is
paying
gonna keep
cra-
turning like this for the rest of your life. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
And la Ahmar Pierre ما بيسمع شيء. He's so hard-headed. He'll never do this, that, third. Now they're all Ya Rab, how am I gonna get my money out? And my dad not 1 cent in Lebanon. Now he's going down. He wants to renovate our old house now because nobody has money. He's like, Allah, I go down. Allah, I
Gotta be
make
cheap.
them work. Yeah, 30,000. I built villa. Bro. I'm like, okay. He goes. Now he's gonna go renovate it, but he was seen like a
Yeah.
very bad, like not very bad, but they're like, "Ma'ul, you're not putting $1 in the bank, ma. It's 10% return every month."
Too good to be true.
Yeah, and he's like, bro, it shouldn't be. And now my uncle, who did a lot, he put a lot of money. He lost everything, bro.
Yeah.
Like everything. And he went, I think, 3 times in the last 8 months talking مع تبع البنك وتبع هذا وجيب وبدي شوف, and nothing is happening, bro. Like the government is like a gangster.
Yeah.
It's you know, like
Yeah.
here too, but it's like not really. Like here, you obviously if you
It's not like it's not like up in the forefront. It's not in your face.
yeah,
like,
exactly. It's more low key, you know. Here, where there, it's like basically like, yeah, no, we run this country. Shut up. This I do whatever I want, and you're not gonna say
Yeah.
anything.
It's
You know?
like it's politically divided.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
in Lebanon, it's not even a race thing. It's more of a who do you follow politically?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Religious stuff, basically.
Yeah, I mean, even like it is religious, but I feel like even like inside the religion, it's so like
Yeah, in
still
religion they're
divided.
divided.
Yeah, it's so
Like,
divided,
even
you
if
know?
you're Christian, you're with this guy or this guy.
yeah, you know, it's like there's so many political parties and there were so many wars fought over it. And I'm like, man, like look, I'm an outsider. I don't have but I say this from what my parents said. You know, both my parents, my dad lived through like 4 wars or 3 wars. My grandma like 7. You know, so like.
Like 7-ish.
Ish, yeah.
Listen, in the past
Maybe 8.
in the past 60 years, there's been like 8 wars in Lebanon. So
Yeah.
it's crazy, and it's always fought by the same people for the
Exactly.
not the same reasons, but it's always fought by the same people against the same people.
Same agenda, basically.
Yeah. And it's all it's all about political parties. And you know, when I went to Lebanon, like a lot of people now are starting to like they're up to here with the political parties, you know. So when I went to Lebanon, a lot of and I talked to when I talked to my uncle. My uncle, I always ask, I would ask him like just to rile him up a bit, you know, like who you with, who you with, you know? Who should I look out for, you know? And he's always like, I'm not with anybody, I'm with God, and that's who I follow. I'm like, that's nice to say. But
You gotta vote.
Who you with? Come
You
on.
gotta vote.
You gotta vote.
My dad, he hates Lebanon now.
Yeah.
Like it's sad to say he doesn't hate it. He
Like
loves
he
it.
hates the system, not
The
just
system,
yeah.
But I think he developed a hate for the country too. Like losing your brother, losing your mother, losing your uncle, losing your cousin, losing your sister, losing كلمة. Every time you get a phone call, توفى, أكل براسه, انفجرت البناية, وقع. Every time you talk to somebody, somebody's dead. Somebody have. It's like, bro,
chaotic.
okay, fuck this country. I fucking hate it, bro. And you try to bring them here. Like they're so hard-headed in Lebanon. They're so close-minded.
بعيدة.
They don't even want to like. We're trying to give you an opportunity to leave. It's like, all right, so you're screwing like the people are screwing themselves. The government is screwing the people. It's just like a complete shit show, you know.
Yeah.
And no wonder there's no funding for sports, bro. Sports, yeah, bro. Let's take care of 7 other things first before we get the sports,
Yeah.
you know.
It's like
A different priority.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
those
of
athletes.
course.
Yeah.
When your country is in a bad shape, sometimes sports doesn't seem like it should be the priority. Which
Yeah, it's not their
sucks-
priority, that's for sure, buddy.
Yeah.
It sucks for those athletes.
There's no oil in the gas station, but I think we'll worry about that before we worry about how we're gonna provide.
That was-
you.
that was the good thing, yeah.
If you think about it, like the whole fuel crisis, it's good. Like you can run to the gym. Think
It's good
smart.
for weight cut. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Wear
Think
the
smart.
sauna suit and just go for a run.
You'll be a light heavyweight in no time, brother.
I'll be a bantamweight.
The tallest bantamweight in history, Michel.
So, have you like? Do you have any plans for like your next fight? Because your last performance was like, I don't want to call it a performance if it ended in only 1 minute.
I felt great.
Still
Amazing.
It was a good performance.
You can't ask for better. Okay?
Yeah.
You can't ask for better. Actually, I was telling your cousins earlier. So I always show my daughters the fight after I win, like the next day when I get back. I get back, I put the fight on, the fight finishes, they look at me like, that's it? No, put the one before, it's 15 minutes. I want the long one. I'm like, oh my God.
They don't
When you're
know the
o-
struggle.
Yeah, when you're older, you'll appreciate it was quick.
Yeah.
But no, I'm hoping now to fight in the fall would be nice. You know, hopefully they come back to Canada and I can fight here. It'd be great. If not, I'll love to fight in Vegas.
How was it to
Oh,
fight in
that's okay.
Canada?
It was really good. I fought for Canada a lot, but this was the first time that when I won and I walked out of the octagon, yeah, the crowd was crazy and they were like pulling me to take pictures
Oh,
and asking
that's
for
nice.
autographs and stuff, which was really nice. And then when I got to the hotel, the fans were all there waiting.
Sick.
Yeah, so they're taking pictures with me, and it was actually funny because the day before, we were walking back from the restaurant to the hotel, and I'm walking with Faraz and my team, and people are stopping for us for pictures.
Nobody's talking.
Nobody's talking to me. Then I knocked the guy out the next day. Everyone's like, "Oh, yeah, now I get the pictures." So it's really, really cool. So I want to fight in Canada again. Just want to like get my name more out there in Canada and build like a Canadian fan base, which
Yeah.
would be really nice. And if not, fighting in Vegas is like my favorite because the UFC owns everything there. They own the hotel you stay at. They own the venue. They
Really?
own the staff is everywhere. The cars, getting car rides easy. Anything that can go wrong, they have the solutions done. Like they're prepared to solve every problem so the fight can go on. So that's something that's nice about fighting in Vegas.
So you personally, you have a good experience with the UFC.
Love it, man. UFC is great.
Yeah.
I love it. Listen, I only fight once a year, but the experience is great.
Good. Good.
I'm just trying to build it up to fight more often. But so hopefully now in the next few
Like
months.
yeah, especially the UFC, like the organization, like it's different than the other big leagues.
Yeah.
Like especially during COVID, like where they did the
Fight Island.
the
man.
island.
I
yeah, in
love
Abu Dhabi.
Dana for that. You can't beat him, man.
Yeah, it's
like
the only-
everyone else is closing down. He's like,
Yeah.
no.
Like it was the only
He's
sport.
like, we're
that
gonna
was
find a
active.
way to stay open. And like the NFL, NHL, NBA, just like, yeah, we're just gonna stop. Dana's like, no, where can we do a show?
Yeah.
Call a few people. Okay, Abu Dhabi. Perfect. Let's build a temporary facility, get everybody down there, get everyone
Yeah.
to be able to fly, this and that. It's like they spent the money. Okay, think about it. It cost them a lot to make it happen. Also, I'm sure the sheikhs supported them in certain
course.
ways, sponsored them, whatever, made things happen for them too. But they took that risk.
Of course.
And then during the COVID, the amount of people who watch UFC went through the roof, man. Like
Yeah.
not only compared to Bellator, PFL, other MMA shows,
Other sports.
other sports, we stole fans from everybody. We stole fans from everybody. Why? Because Dana never stopped, man.
There was nothing to do, man. If you
There's
wanted to
nothing
watch
to do.
sports,
What are
yeah.
you gonna watch?
Yeah.
What are you gonna watch? And so like I think it was a great business move, you know, and like they took their company from being worth 4 billion when they sold the Fertitta brothers to IMG and WME, right? Now they're reassessed to be worth like almost 12 billion. You know, so those 3 years of pushing it through COVID, they made back their investments so easily.
They could have invested $8 billion and they would have been good
yeah,
now.
exactly.
That's
So
thick.
they did amazing.
Yeah.
And like when it comes to fighting for them, yeah, like listen, if you don't win fights, they get rid of you, man. That's the truth.
Yeah.
You know, if you're not personable, you don't have a fan base, you're not clicking with the audience, and things aren't going well. Yeah, it's 2 fights you're out. Like there are a lot of sad stories, but there are a lot of beautiful stories too. Like let's say like Robbie Lawler, you know, when he was first in the UFC, he ends up losing a few fights, gets out of the UFC, wins a belt in every other league, Strikeforce, whatever else was at the time. I can't remember them all, but he wins a belt in all of them, makes it back to the UFC, wins the UFC title. You know what I mean? You know, becomes a millionaire, has this incredible story. And like now his last retirement fight, he won. And he's
Crazy.
retiring fine,
Beautiful.
you know, but he's lost a lot. He's been through hell. He's been
Yeah.
fired from the UFC, come back, and you know. And then other guys, like let's say like one guy I fought during COVID, my first fight during COVID. I win by knockout. Okay, I knocked the guy out, and then 4 months later he fights again. He loses a really close decision, tough fight, but he lost, and he's fired. Done. His career's done in the UFC. Now he's got to go out there. He's got to fight in all these other leagues, make it back, and hope that he can get back into the UFC or back into Bellator or PFL or something like that. So it's interesting, but like he also has that UFC branding. So if let's say he opens a school
UFC
or
vet.
whatever, he's still a UFC vet. I've been to the UFC. I've made it. So like you can use that UFC
reputation,
logo,
basically.
reputation of being in there and fighting against that. You
I
know?
was gonna bring something up too regarding that. That MMA is a nice sport because you always have that chance to coach. You
Yeah,
always have that chance. Like, okay, being a basketball player, you retire from basketball. Okay, maybe you go coach a high school team, then you go coach maybe a college team, and then maybe you find a job in the NBA if you're like a great a basketball coach.
Yeah.
But you see a lot of okay MMA fighters, good MMA fighters, maybe not great, but they have a great mind.
yeah,
They have like a great approach to training, and I feel like that's a nice thing about MMA. There's always that venue. If you have something to offer to the game, if you have something to bring to the game that's different, even if you weren't the best or the champion or this, that, the third, and no fi majal, like there's an opportunity for you to still live off of your passion.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, look at I didn't win any major titles. I've actually lost every major tournament I've been to. I've won some big stuff, and now I have a school. And just because maybe I have a different way of approaching the teaching of jiu-jitsu, or maybe because I have my own touch to jiu-jitsu, and alhamdulillah, the school is going good. Like, I can't complain. Like, but there's people who are way more successful than me in jiu-jitsu that don't have schools that still are struggling, sleeping in a fucking basement with 5 other guys to try, and they're world champions. But me, I'm not a world champion. I just had the opportunity to find a nice lease, find a nice place, and now I can make something of my life with my passion.
Plus,
you know?
you have a good eye for this.
Thank you.
For this
Yeah.
sport.
Not everyone can teach, but if you
Yeah.
can, it's a very good asset to have for retirement.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
huge.
And it's also a nice way to, like you said, create funding.
Yeah.
Like now, at least if I generate some kind of money with jiu-jitsu, maybe now I can travel with less stress. Like, at least I know, okay, I have the money to pay for a flight to Vancouver to do ADCC Open or something like that, you know? Like, whereas before it's like, okay, I have to call my dad, get off from work, see if he can maybe give me $1,000 or $2,000.
You're your own boss, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And not only my own boss, I have like a support system in the community. Like, not only is the support system in home, but now I have a jiu-jitsu family that supports me. They pay membership. They know that if you pay the membership, Jad is going to go and try to test himself against the best guys, no matter the outcome, to bring you back that experience that we were talking about that you can't buy, you know? And I feel like that's what's cool about martial arts. There's always that option. If you're a personable person, if you're nice, if you have a good way of teaching, then there's always a way for you to make a living, you know. Maybe you won't be a billionaire, but at least, you know, you make a living doing something you love, and that's more valuable, I think, than a lot of money. People do a lot of money, do a job that they hate, they make a lot of money, and they're still they hate their life.
Miserable,
you know? Miserable,
basically,
yeah.
yeah, so-
And there's other people who do what they love, they make a little bit less money, and their quality of life is 10x the one of the guy making $20 million a year, you know? And I feel like that's what's cool about the sport. It's like, it's a community that's very supportive. It's very hard to be a dickhead in martial arts. Like, nobody's going to want to train
I mean,
with
there's
you.
a few.
Yeah.
There's a few
Name
here and
one.
there.
Yeah. Show me who.
The worst people in MMA are more around like management.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Business part.
People who, the business part, people try to come into MMA to scoop, the fighters over and stuff. But most MMA guys have some sort of like a good character base because they grew up in martial arts or whatever. So they had, trainers and masters who taught them discipline. Like most of the time, you go into martial arts, you end up coming out a good person.
Yeah,
you know.
100%.
A lot of discipline, but most of the bad guys are like the guys who are just coming in to steal a few dollars from different
Yes.
things, or the promoter, let's
Promoter,
say, or whoever. Like the business aspect that you'll see bad people, but most of the fighters are pretty great, man. I mean,
Everybody, yeah. Speaking of Robbie Lawler, I once met him at an airport in Florida.
Yeah.
And I was so intimidated to say hi, 'cause, yo, he looks like a He's
He's
badass.
a tank when he's not cutting
Yo,
weight. Let me
bro.
tell you.
Well, he was walking with his wife and his child. He's a man, like, bro, he was huge. I'm like, 155. He's bigger than me. Then I run towards him. I'm like, Robbie, I'm a big fan. And he's like, oh, hey, took a picture with me, talking. He's like, I really gotta go. I'm in a rush. Like, but he was so respectful, so nice. Like,
like
random kid in Florida runs up to him, gives me a hug, takes a picture with me. Like, and I had another experience with like a hockey player. And it was like the complete opposite. Like, leave me the fuck alone. I gotta go. I was like,
Who's the hockey player?
it's okay.
I'm like,
You know, Martin Brodeur. He's a goalie.
For which team?
He used to play for the New Jersey Devils. He's one of the great goalies.
Okay.
I think he was hungover. I ran to him. He's like,
Bad
"They
timing."
Yeah, he's like, leave me alone. I'm fucking tired. I'm like, all right. Yeah, that was.
like yeah, MMA guys are kind of, I don't know, humble more than
Mhm.
other sports. There's Sean Strickland was on a podcast with Joe Rogan, and he said something kind of interesting. He said that, of course, it's not easy to make it to the big leagues in any martial arts, but making it to the UFC as an MMA fighter is easier than making it to the NBA as a basketball player or NFL or football or whatever. So it kind of makes more sense because, like he says that the UFC is for everybody, or MMA basically is for everybody, because you can actually make it.
Yeah.
It's not easy, of course,
Yeah.
but like a lot of people can make it if you put the time in, and if you have the talent for it, of
I
course.
feel like for the UFC, like I'm not in it, so I guess Aiemann would be
Yeah.
more.
You're
more
not
keen to
in the
talk to it.
UFC?
Yeah. But I feel like in the UFC, the reason he says that it's because you could get a short notice fight, 2 weeks notice.
Yeah.
You're unknown, and then the UFC will scout you and they'll put you in a short notice fight. Or the UFC they'll get like they have like a revolving door. I feel like they'll get guys for a fight or two, and then they'll let them leave if they don't do too good.
Mhm.
Like the NBA, if you want to get in the NBA, you have to go through college. You have to do really good, and then they have to give you a seasonal contract. So it
And
makes
the
sense.
pool,
Yeah.
the pool of people, bro. Remember that? Like
Yeah.
I played basketball here at somewhat a high level. Made it like to provincials, and at the age of 13, I knew I would never go pro because I'm fucking 5'10", bro.
Yeah, I
Look
was
at
gonna
this,
say
my
the
biggest-
genetic pool is different too.
Yeah, there's no weight classes
There's
in
certain
NBA.
requirements, or is it? Yeah, exactly. In MMA, there's weight classes. So if you're a super small guy,
You
you
can
just
still
fight in your weight class. You're
Yeah.
not fighting the guy who's 250 pounds.
No,
So that makes it easier too.
if you're a basketball player and you're a 6'1" point guard, you're gonna have to fucking guard 6'4", 6'5" point
Yeah.
guards. There's nothing you can do about
or,
it. So
or in the NFL, not everybody can take a shot like a tackle
yeah.
from those big guys,
course.
right? So you need a certain amount of genetics to be able to participate in the sports too. So it limits everyone who can do it.
Well,
Whereas
look at-
MMA, there's a right variety of styles to become champion.
humongous. Like look at the body types in MMA. Like you see all sorts
All
of
of
body
them.
types,
Yeah,
right?
all of them.
Shredded, big, a little bit of lumps, no lumps. Some guys have horrible, like
Some guys are
not
tall
horrible.
and lanky.
Yeah, some are short, stubby. Whereas like basketball, there's no short, stubby. It's all tall, lanky.
Basically, same
Same,
body
yeah,
type,
same guy, and you just switch the height from like 6'6" to 7'4".
Yeah.
If you're anywhere in between that, okay, now you have a chance maybe to do it. If you're less than that, bro, like
Yeah, it's
you
gonna
better
be hard.
double,
Yeah, it's
triple,
gonna be hard.
quadruple down on your work to even catch the eye of a random scout of the Memphis Grizzlies because
Yeah.
he can't even see you on the court. You're 6'1" running around, he doesn't even see you. But there's 9 guys who are 6'10".
Yeah.
Whereas like I'll give you an example
more
in
effort,
jiu-jitsu. Like I had an event in Magog. It was filmed and it was the first professional thing I was a part of. And you're like also MMA and jiu-jitsu and martial arts, you're at the front and center. Like everybody is watching your fight. Like if you're fighting, everybody's watching you. It's not like basketball where they're watching the game and there's
They're
a bunch
watching
of
10 players.
10
Yeah,
players on
there's
the
2
field.
guys.
Yeah.
We focus on these 2 and see. And I got a lot of like a reach out from companies, from different podcasts, different people came to the academy from that because I was at the center of the event. Like everybody was watching my fight, and if I perform well, then it brings you notoriety. Whereas if I'm playing a basketball game, even if I score 20 points, if the guy next to me scored 40, nobody sees you. You could have had a crazy game, made 4 steals, played very well defensively. Nobody sees you. Nobody knows who you are because the guy right next to you, there's 9 other guys that can outshine you in that moment, Whereas MMA, it's only you versus the other guy. It's like, okay, who's going to outshine who? And now if you do it, then you get all the attention.
Yeah, basically that's every individual sport.
Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
all of them. Like look at the F1 guys. There's
Yeah.
like 30 cars, like 10 teams, 2 cars for
Yeah.
each team, and 10.
But to make
Spare
it in
cars.
F1, bro.
Yeah, like
Fun is crazy.
you got 30 drivers, and there's a lineup with a I don't know 100,000 driver waiting.
Yeah.
But I was
so-
thinking about this the other day. Martial arts is the only individual sport that doesn't cost money.
In what way?
What do you mean?
You want to play tennis?
Yeah,
Good luck, bro.
yeah.
You wanna
It's
play
expensive. but-
F1? Good luck, bro.
Mhm.
Like you want to name another individual sport. MMA, put gloves on, practice.
Yeah,
Go to
kinda.
a gym, fucking show up, train, and you'll get a shot. You'll if you actually want to do it, you'll get a shot.
Mhm.
Like you could put your head down, work, and get a shot.
Yeah,
I can put my head down and drive go-karts all my life, and I'll never make it to the F1.
yeah. I kind of agree with him on that. It's you could be you could suck at MMA or suck at fighting in general. some shady promoter is still gonna put you in the fight with
Exactly. Yeah,
the coming star, you know?
yeah,
Like,
true.
if you suck at basketball, no one's gonna put you on their team. You know?
Nobody. Yeah,
But
exactly.
in MMA, you're definitely gonna get matched up. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Like we see all the time in the amateur scene. You know, guys that show up, they don't even have cornermen. You know, they ask like it's happened so many TriStar guys that they'll be cornering us for fights, and then some guy will walk up to like, oh, my corner didn't show up I don't have a corner. Could you just come hold water and ice for me? The guy's like, all right, and then they'll get smashed because you know they train out of a garage or whatever, and the promoter knows this, and he just lets them out and goes to fight. You know.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
just wants to fill the.
Nobody's
the
gonna let a
card,
shitty F1 driver make it to Monaco. They'd be like, "Get the hell out of here!" Bro. Yeah, I feel it.
Yeah. They just want to fill the fight card basically.
Yeah.
I had a question to you, if you don't mind.
Okay.
How's wrestling in Lebanon?
Like the wrestling scene, honestly, like I don't have any contact with the.
But do you know if there is like wrestling clubs
Yeah,
or
yeah.
stuff
Yeah,
like
there's
that?
wrestling clubs, but I hear the army got a good wrestling team.
Okay.
The Lebanese army. I've been to their facility once, but I've never trained. I went to shoot. Shoot pistols.
It's way more
You
fun
can,
than
you
wrestling.
can wrestle or you can shoot. So yeah, it's way more fun than wrestling.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know about like if it was Greco-Roman or freestyle wrestling, or I
Yeah.
just know there's a facility. It's kind of big.
Because me, I googled once to see like if there was any Olympic wrestlers that came from Lebanon, and there was only one, and it was in 1934.
Oh wow.
Oh, wow.
And I was really wondering, like, okay, there's literally like no there's almost none grappling aspect. In
Yeah.
Lebanon, you know, or maybe there is, and I
10th
don't.
planet, that's it.
That's the only one. Yeah.
Yes.
There's a few
okay.
jiu-jitsu schools, but
It's
it's 10th planet.
This
is
is,
like-
it's a hard sell to tell a bunch of Lebanese guys.
Yeah.
Get on top of each other.
Yeah,
Start
real.
rolling on the ground.
Lebanese guys don't like to get on top of each other. They're right.
Except here, a lot of Lebanese guys like to get on top of each other. Here, they love it. Bro.
They're more free.
Yeah, exactly. That's true.
It's
Yeah.
it's different.
It's more striking. Like when you speak martial arts in Lebanon, the dominant martial art is striking.
It's gotta be Taekwondo, no?
Yeah, yeah.
It's gotta be Taekwondo or something.
Striking? No, it's Muay Thai.
Muay Thai
Muay Thai is the
oh,
biggest
yeah?
one in Lebanon.
As striking, yeah, Muay Thai and Sanda are like
Are the two biggest?
yeah,
Okay.
they're like always competing.
Oh,
So
Rokhabit, eh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
basically,
good.
yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
punches, kicks.
the,
That's cool.
the cornerman, like the crowd, maybe yeah, Roto box. Okay,
Yes, okay.
okay, bro. Thank you. So it's like they have a different perspective on this because yeah, you know when you go into the gym, like your cousins would be like, yeah, my cousin's
He's
he,
a MMA.
he fights he does Muay Thai or kickboxing or whatever, like and they ask you questions like super stupid, like if 10 guys came at you,
Yeah,
could
yeah,
you
yeah.
beat them?
Yeah,
Like,
but this happens
bro.
here too, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me, I go.
that's
I don't know
here
if
too.
it's like this for
Same
you
thing,
guys,
yeah,
but
yeah,
when
of
you
course.
guys used to chill with your friends.
Because they watch the movies, right?
Yeah,
And those guys,
exactly.
they beat 10, 20 guys.
Yes, exactly. They see
hell.
Michael J. White in a prison cell beat 10 other guys, and they're like, okay, yeah, and if we go out, I'm like, no, bro. What do you mean
yeah,
if we go
like
out?
you'd be surprised. Like people came up to me and like Boyka did this move. Boyka from the Undisputed
yeah.
movie. Like, okay, bro, go do it.
Yeah,
Go do it on the
exactly,
back.
yeah.
Yeah.
In high school, when I started training, you know, after 6 months, you know, you think you know something.
Yeah.
And it's been just 6 months that I was training, so I started telling like, guys like, oh, you know, you have to punch like this, you have to kick like that, and man, kids in high school are just a bunch of haters because they would grab me and take me to all the biggest, like toughest kids in school and be like, you think you can whip his ass if you guys fought?
Yeah.
And I didn't want to back down, so I'd say like, I'd be scratching my head, almost crying. I'm like, yeah, I guess.
You can fight.
Yeah, we
I
can
can
fight,
fight.
but I'd rather not. But we can. Yeah, I don't know if it was like this for you guys, but I feel like when you chill with your non-martial arts friends, they like they get super confident when you're there.
Oh,
Yeah, of course.
Like they're like, oh, I'm with Jad, and sure. If something,
Sure.
I'm like, bro, you're not paying me. If you pay me, I'll be your security guard. But if we go out and you're confident for no reason, it makes no sense. I don't want to go out with you guys anymore. You know, like every time you chill at home, they have some kind of personality. Then they go out, they're all big macho guys. Like, where were you? You weren't like this in my basement 10 minutes ago.
Yeah,
you know?
especially like my friends, because I'm the big guy. 'Cause even
Yeah,
if
you-
I don't do
yeah,
martial arts stuff, I'm the big guy. Like I'm supposed to be the one that that.
وانت
you know,
مالك
always like-
ليدي, like.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
no, I don't want that.
Exactly.
Like
bro.
I'm way too peaceful for fights.
Yeah,
street fights.
yeah.
Especially in Lebanon, like you were talking about school fights. I don't know,
Yeah.
because there's no 1v1s in Lebanon. There's
Well,
no
everyone has
1v1s.
cousins.
Everybody got cousins. Like if I remotely like slightly know you and I see you in a fight, I want to come fight with you. Like, what's happening? Like
Yeah, yeah.
like during like my high school, like a fight would break out and there's like 50 guys punching each other.
Yeah.
Really?
Like,
Huh?
yeah.
I-
Like two people started it, and those two people like have nothing to do with the fight. After like 1 minute, they'd leave, and the
Yeah,
other
they
guys,
go eat, and then there's 50
yeah,
people
the,
fighting.
the
and
other
they're
guys
like,
are still
"What?"
fighting. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's weird.
I remember in Lebanon we were playing basketball, me and all my cousins, and just randomly some poor guys starts getting jumped by like 12 other guys. Just randomly, apparently he's looking at some girl or something. You know, it's a big no-no. You can't do that in Lebanon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And,
really weird. They have a really weird approach to that women thing in Lebanon too. Because when I was there, I was shocked because like he's driving, yeah, ew, like very outspoken, very like, oh wow, Jamelo, Ana, yeah, like from the car window, you know. Here nobody, like, here you drop your window, you're like, oh Jamelo, Ana, like the fuck out of you, they'll call the cops on you. There, it's like very open and but if you look at my girl, it's like, oh, we're gonna fight. But it's like, bro, 5 minutes ago you dropped the window, you whistled across the whole beach, lady, and now we're gonna fight because I looked at your girlfriend. Like, it's very weird, you know, in this country.
yeah,
It's a very ego country, I feel.
That's the word.
I feel like the ego is humongous.
Yeah,
like
that's
me,
the word.
I went there, I was like 17. I had no ego. Like, I didn't know. I was fat kid, tits everywhere. Like I didn't know. You know, I had no ego. I barely had any confidence, you know, so I didn't understand that concept of it, but I feel like they always have something to prove to like the other guy. Like I have
Yeah.
to prove that I'm a man. I have to prove.
Like not just in this the macho thing. Like in everything you do, you have to prove to other people that you can do this.
That's what I like about
even
this
if you're
country.
broke, you would go get a loan just to spend on I don't know like useless stuff. To
My dad used to tell me like we would see like a guy with a brand new Range Rover. He'd be like, Shaif Haida, he doesn't even have money to put his kids in school.
it's weird.
His kids aren't even in school, and look, he's here. He just spent like $3,000 at this club, and it's like, holy shit! And how? He's like, "Bah, loan. You go get a credit card, and you do it. And
You have to
like show
the
out. You have
reputation,
to show,
the
yeah.
reputation
Your
matters.
image is very. Here, I feel like in this country, it's it's like very, especially in Quebec. I feel like, surtout the Quebec culture, the Québécois, he doesn't give a fuck about you. He's living his own life. You could be $100 millionaire, and I can have $10,000. He wouldn't even look at you. He doesn't even calculate you. He doesn't even care about you. Whereas in Lebanon,
like you see this especially in the gyms. Like you see someone, let's say, doing jujitsu with a legging that got a hole in it. Like it's completely normal. In
Yeah.
Lebanon, no, you don't.
oh yeah,
Like once you're, let's say, fight gear like rips off, you have to buy like
yeah,
new
I
ones,
barely.
I wear my clothes until they're by a
Yeah,
thread.
Wallah, me too.
Yeah.
I wear my clothes until my clothes tell me stop. Like, yo, I can't
They'd
do
hate
this
me in
anymore. Please retire me.
They'd hate me in Lebanon because I show up to the gym in a boxer. and,
This
like,
guy shows up like he's going for sleep, like,
Yeah,
he shows up, basketball shorts,
Yeah.
t-shirts from a random restaurant in Laval. He's like,
and
I'm
listen,
ready
as long as I'm covered,
Yeah.
that's all that matters. That's all that matters. I don't got no money to spend on like a $50 rash guard and stuff.
Yeah. As long as you're able to train with it, so it's okay. Yeah,
Listen.
that's the way I think too.
As long as
because-
you're clean, that's all that matters. To be fair.
yeah, that's the most.
How's the
important.
cleanliness in Lebanon and martial
No,
arts?
they're kind of clean.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they do it good. They take care of the facilities and stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
No, it's
Like-
it's really clean facility. The TriStar in Lebanon are really clean.
Yeah,
It's really nice. Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, we like just as like TriStar, we clean after, we mop after each session, and everybody's responsible for that matter, especially during COVID. 'cause,
Yeah, yeah. How was
everybody
training
scared.
in COVID in Lebanon?
Actually, COVID in Lebanon was I don't know, it's like a different experience than here. I was talking about it. You guys had it kind of hard. in
Mhm,
COVID.
very hard.
It was harder than Lebanon because in Lebanon, like everybody's their own boss.
Right.
Like, yeah, let's say this.
So there was
this
no
spot is-
police raid. Like no police would come and arrest you guys.
like during peak COVID, yes.
okay,
But like after, like during the first quarantine, yes, like the one from
The original
March,
one.
yeah,
The
March
original one.
2020 till June 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of strict. Plus, everybody was scared.
Yeah, yeah.
Like everybody was
Yeah,
scared.
even
Even here too, it was the same thing in the first one. After that,
go,
Like the metro, the buses were shut down in.
I don't
No.
know.
No,
I
no,
can't
they,
remember
they,
in
were,
COVID.
they were still. I think they were still open. Like they were still.
they were open, but very like there was a guy telling you, okay, this like okay, no more people here, or no more people per this wagon, or this
Oh,
bus
okay,
can't
so
have it.
it's,
yeah 6
kind
feet.
of-
This you know the 6 feet thing. There
which
was
is
a-
which is the dumbest thing. Man.
yeah, it was kind of
It's
crazy.
like especially restaurants. Like we could go to a restaurant, but we had to wear masks. And
And you have to take it off when you eat.
yeah,
Yeah,
then
but
you
in
take it off
between
when you
each
eat.
bite,
Yeah.
like you have
Oh,
to.
you have to-
I don't think it was that bad, but
Yeah.
we would walk in and like you have to wear a mask inside the restaurant, until you're seated.
Yeah,
And,
you
like,
can
every-
take it off once you see
Yeah,
it.
once you're seated, then you can take it off. Then you can't catch COVID anymore. You know.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
You're
ridiculous, you
immune.
know?
Yeah, the booth is kind of immune.
What was worse than all that was traveling during COVID. I don't know
traveled
if
during
you
COVID.
guys
I
got to
traveled, yeah.
experience this,
Yeah.
bro. It's like a science fiction movie
Yeah.
because you couldn't believe what they were telling you. Like you would sit down and I would fall asleep on the plane. And like me, I'm a big mouth breather.
You snore.
Humongous. I love it. Like this, I feel at home, you know? So I'm sitting, I have the mask, and every breath is like,
It's going down.
but every 15 minutes, she would wake me up from my deep sleep. Monsieur, what the fuck? I just turn around, like, are you fucking kidding me right now? If I'm fast asleep, I'm dead in my seat. Put it back, comes back down. The whole flight. And but fast forward 3 years later, I see the same flight attendant
Oh, shit.
on the same flight, and I'm going to Austin, same flight. And I'm like, yo, do I need to put the mask on now? She's like, I just want to say I'm sorry. It wasn't.
Oh, she recognized.
Yeah,
Oh,
she was like, yo,
amazing.
I didn't mean
Just
like.
following her rules. Right?
Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
her
yeah,
fault. I know
so-
it's not her fault. Yeah, it's
know?
just like sometimes it gets like heavy, you know,
Yeah, of course.
dealing with all this fucking bullshit all the time.
I found a hack for that because I traveled once. My brother got married during COVID, so I went to Lebanon for the wedding, and
He got married in Lebanon.
in Lebanon
That's sick, man.
because he met his wife in Lebanon.
That's sick, bro.
So for the wedding, we went like on the plane. My hack was, when you're eating, obviously, you can take off your mask. So whenever they would bring us like the food, man, that food would last the whole plane.
Yeah.
I'd be there eating for like 8 hours straight. Like, sorry, I'm
Every
so
time
tired.
they show up, a bite.
Just remembered when I arrived from Canada to Lebanon, they made me download this app. Like they did the whole swab test in the nose, and they're like, "Oh, for you to wait for the results, you have to quarantine at home." I'm like, "Okay, like." My grandma's house doesn't have an address. Like, what do you? She lives
Right next to the tall tree.
Yeah, she lives in the hut. Like, what do you want me to tell you?
Yeah, is there Uber in Lebanon? Uber Eats
Yeah,
and stuff. Okay.
Beirut.
But but if you live like let's say like
Okay,
me
let's
too
say
in Alcar-
you're going to this place. Like you go to Google Maps. There's I don't know, let's say a McDonald's.
Okay.
So You kind of go
'Cause
close.
me, I was thinking like, 'cause me, my dad, the way he would give instructions when like we have a house in Alka.
Mm.
He'd be like, "Titla, first depth."
Yeah,
There's a dead
it's-
cat in front of the depth. Okay.
Leave the dead cat
Leave
alone.
it here. The
A
other depth.
milestone.
Yeah, exactly. The other depth, there's a live cat with a grandpa sitting in front. It's this one. In front of this one, third floor on the
Yeah,
right. It's like, bro, how do you have time to how do you recognize which is which, you know? And like let's say I want to order an Uber. I can't be like go to the depth where there's the dead cat. I had to you know what I mean? Like I was just
Right
wondering
next to the dead cat.
I was wondering how you would make that work in Lebanon, like Uber and taxi if there's no addresses. you know?
Honestly,
We do a lot of share locations on
Yeah.
WhatsApp.
But let's say I order Uber. Hey, أنا بدي أروح, I want to go to the Batroun and somewhere in Batroun. And I'm here. How do I give him an address if there
Okay, بتقول له لوين مثلا بدك تروح.
Okay.
مثلا this spot.
But on the app.
Yeah.
On the app, you
Yeah.
write like, I want to go to this part of Batroun. And he's like, yeah, I got you.
هلا لانه بالاب في الجوجل مابس so you can go and pick your
Oh, you would
location.
pinpoint something next to where you want to
Yeah,
go and be like,
kind of.
drop me
So,
off
yeah.
here. Khalas, that's it.
Yeah.
That's all.
you know,
Okay.
and it's funny you say that because actually I forgot what I was gonna say. That's embarrassing. I forgot what I was gonna say.
No, say it. It's
No,
okay.
I actually forgot.
It's okay. It's okay. It's always been funny to me, addresses in Lebanon.
Yeah,
It's been very fun. Like even when I was there, living there and everything, coming back here, it was a very culture shock. Like everybody knows where like this 1204 Boulevard this. And then I go Lebanon, I'm like, what's the address here? address شو هذا؟ خي أول دكة تاني طابق فوت يطلع برو مسلم على ميشو خياه هو البيت. Okay, but what if I'm a tourist? How do I سلم على ميشو?
You can.
Yeah, ميشو عارف إنه جاي. Don't worry, I spoke to ميشو عارف إنه أنت جاي. وقت تشوفه على ميشو سلم عليه وبفوتك.
Okay.
Me, I walk in oblivious. Misho, Jad, yeah, yalla, full. Okay. So then I go in. My whole family is there. I'm like, none of you guys could wait for me downstairs to make me feel comfortable. None of
Yeah.
you.
that's what I just remember. I was gonna say it's man. My dad grew up like 28. He lived 28 years, 29 years until he moved here to Canada, and it's like he doesn't forget like anything. You know,
Yeah.
it's like if you want to know how to travel in Lebanon, you have to live your whole life in
Yeah,
Lebanon to know
yeah,
how to
that's
get there.
true.
When I was there, no one let me drive. Like, first of all, because you guys drive like madman, all right? You guys.
Maniacs. 4 lanes, 8 cars. كله على الصمور.
Yeah.
يا أنا bam bam me here. Here
Yeah,
you honk.
like-
That means we have to
Yeah,
fight.
exactly.
Lebanon honk.
No,
Yeah, man.
there's different tones to honking.
Yeah, it's
in
a
Lebanon.
language of itself.
It's
Yeah.
like I'm turning left. I'm turning right.
فيك
Because-
تسلم
Yeah.
فيك تصب فيك تعمل كل شيء بالهون.
I remember my cousin, he was driving. He's like, look, this girl is so cute. Watch this. Bam, 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 bam. And she's like, so I tried it here, but I almost got arrested. Bro. She's like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? He's like, what? شو حلوة هناك. يا جماله. And then he kept going. I'm like, okay. And
Yeah,
then,
Ashta.
and then 2 seconds later, he gets into a fight. He's like, this means I hate you.
Be different tones.
Yeah. One is I'm cutting left. Don't turn left now. I'm going. It's like, bro, so much anxiety when driving, bro.
Yeah. حتى
Here you drive your eyes closed, but wallah, you can drive your eyes closed, then nothing happens.
look here, like Montreal مطرح ما قاعد هلا it's like 20 minutes away. It's super close.
From here, yeah.
Lebanon 20 minutes, it's super far.
Really?
Yeah, because you have to drive, you have to go through.
صلي بيدك على وجهك.
Yeah, you have to go through a lot of obstacles, a lot of stuff. You know,
Yeah.
And like a trip from where
What's
I
the
live.
name of the place where you're driving and you're right on the edge, like it's a highway that's known that like cars fall all the
There's only
time.
one highway.
You know, like
One
you
end
go
to
through,
Lebanon
it's
to the
like a.
last.
Huh?
في ظهر البيدر في دهور شوير.
No, there's. I think it's what you said.
ظهر البيدر.
They have like a little rail. It's
Yeah,
a bullshit rail
like
that they put there.
yeah,
Like, this
even-
will protect your car. I look
even-
at it, bro. It's the size of my shoe. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
It's a rail for
Who
bikes
put this
basically.
here? They're like, بركي خلي البيت هيك. Oh, what? You hit it before you fall. I'm like, what the fuck is
To
this?
flip over.
Yeah, at least you're sure to be dead. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, man, people there drive, like, you know, you expect, like, oh, everybody drives crazy. They must be good drivers. When I was in Lebanon, I saw at least 8 cars that would flip over, you know?
Yeah.
A car accident every night you drove, you know, especially on the mountain roads, you know? I saw so many car accidents. It's like,
It's crazy. Yeah,
crazy 'cause you
everybody's
think-
drunk driving.
yeah.
And
because you
Drunk
think
driving,
yeah,
yeah, man. First time I go back after being here, I go back, I'm maybe 14, 15. He picks me up, the car. في الدكان على الهايواي انه بتوقف بيجي he comes in
ناولني اسمه.
ايه الماظة
Those are the best.
وعلبة مالبورو.
those are the best.
He grabs الماظة علبة مالبورو, puts the cigarette in his mouth, pops the beer, puts it in the cup holder. وين رايحين؟ على البحر, يلا خي على البحر. Boom boom drive beer like it's water, bro.
البير هينة بعد.
I'm like, yo, what's like? There's no cops, like
Cops.
DUI. Should the DUI? Should DUI? Like he didn't even know what I was talking about. Like
DUI.
driving under the influence. شو الانفلونس تدوز اخي غلط. We're going to the beach. Be
شو
happy.
يعني influencer.
He showed me influence.
سامع فيها.
He's like, bro, shut your mouth. We're going to the beach. Like, خلاص, everything is fine. I'm like, bro, you're drunk. So drunk? Swerving on the highway, bro. Yeah, it's very different.
Yeah, حتى if you wear a seatbelt in Lebanon, you're considered a bad driver.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing I got.
Yeah.
When I came back from Lebanon, I lost, because I spent like 2.5 months there, I lost the sense of seatbelt. And I wouldn't put it, bro. Just
Yeah,
from being
you're a
there
bad
for 2
driver.
months, because I would get bullied by my cousins, like جاد حط الساتير, اوعى يا جماعة. They would all make fun of me. I'd be like, bro, I just don't want to die if something happens, bro. They'd be like, oh, you're a pussy.
The way
Yeah,
they,
You're scared of
exactly,
death?
yeah, yeah.
the way they're
Pussy.
driving, that's seatbelt and saving you.
Yeah, true.
That's the way it's saving you.
Yeah, true.
I was waiting to ask you something. Like it's kind of out of topic. Like obviously you have a family, you have a lovely family, you have a twin
girls, man.
twin girls. Yeah.
Yeah.
God bless, man.
Thank you.
Did having kids ever change your perspective on fighting?
No, zero.
Like, were you more safe? Were you more aggressive? Were you more
No.
Sick.
like it was
It's fighting is for me.
okay?
That's for anybody else. So
That's sick.
whether I have a wife, kids, no kids, it's my life. The fight life is something separate from everything else that I do. So I never let it affect anything. It's funny because like when I had booked my wedding and I got the fight, and my brother's like, "Oh, you're crazy! You're gonna get married, and you're gonna have a fight 2 weeks later." Like, it's fine. They have nothing to do with the other. You know, like I can.
Separate life.
When I leave the gym, I'm home. I'm with my wife and kids. That's it. Like,
You're daddy and
I'm a
husband.
dad.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, you're not the fighter.
When I'm in the gym, it's time for business. Like there's nothing else matters. And then when I go for my fights, I call my kids this and that. It's great. It's a great thing to have a family. It's don't let anybody tell you different. Having a wife that loves and respects you, having kids that love you, it's there's nothing else you can do better, you know. But you have to be able to go out there and do your job. You know, you have to have the two things, and one doesn't hurt the other one. In the end, it's just a blessing. Having a wife and kids is the best thing you can do.
That's why a solid partner is
Yeah,
important.
it's very important. So you have to have a good wife for sure, and you have to be a good husband too, right?
Of course,
it's
yeah.
balance.
Of
There's a lot
course,
of balance.
course.
And I did when we got married. I was begging my wife. I'm like, please have twins, please, 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 God, have twins, so that I don't have to take time off, you know, for too long. Like,
Yeah.
one pregnancy, two
Yeah.
kids. Khalas, finish it for me, man. Do us a favor. She's like, you're crazy. I'm like, there's no twins in my family. There's no twins in your family. She's like, there's no chance. I'm like, babe, do me a favor, man. Just do it. Just do it for both of us. Listen, you're only gonna
technique.
you're only gonna be pregnant one time. Think about it. You're gonna have to lose the weight once. We're gonna change diapers one time. Khalas, man. She's like, no. Anyways, I got obsessed with the idea, and I kept bringing it up. I kept talking about it. You can ask Arnold Allen, man. I was telling all the guys at the gym, I'm gonna have twins. I'm gonna have twins.
You spoke it into existence, man.
And then, yeah, and then like when we went to the first ultrasound, I googled like what it looks like, you know, in the ultrasound, this and that. And the nurse, when she touched her belly with the wand, you know, like the ultrasound wand,
Yeah.
touched her belly with it. It goes up on the screen. I'm like, twins? My wife's like, no. The nurse like, yeah. How did you know? I'm like, I googled it. Like, it's very crazy. My wife, she couldn't talk for 3 hours. She's like, what am I gonna do? Oh my God, we're finished. But you know what? It's the best because everything gets done together. Like you're gonna wake up in the middle of the night anyway. Better to change 2 diapers and then have to go back. Imagine you have a 3-year-old, you're out of diapers, then you get a new one.
Yeah,
Oh God, who wants that?
Yeah, you're right.
Nobody wants that stuff.
It's funny you say that. Me and my girlfriend, we talk a lot. Like we've been together for a while. We have a house, and we always talk. We want twins.
Yeah, it's the best. That's it.
Yeah,
One
me,
and
I
done.
just like twins because
Do the same technique.
Do
as
the
me.
thing. Talk about it. Bring it up. Everybody asks you. I'm having 2.
Yeah. I'm gonna. I think I'm
You
gonna
manifest.
I'm gonna whisper it in her ear.
Yeah, exactly.
We're having twins.
Yeah.
It's twins.
make a white noise record of saying that. Play it every night she goes to bed.
Put it next to her belly.
Yeah. No, it's good. But I was having 2 in one shot. It's great, and no, I love it, man. Like even now, like after the podcast, going to the family event now. We're gonna have the Sundays family day usually, but I'm gonna go see them, hang out. And what's good about MMA and fighting in general is we don't work a lot of hours,
Right.
That's true.
right?
Right.
Few hours in the morning,
3 hours at night.
few hours at night. That's all day. So like I spend so much time with my kids.
But it's good because you're a
It's-
present father.
I'm present, and it's like we spent so much time. And then even during COVID, the best thing about COVID was like the real lockdown, the original one. Let's say like from March when they shut us down for real.
The first one.
All the daycares were closed. So my kids were like 19 months old, and I was a stay-at-home dad. My wife, she works in her family owns a body shop, so they're
Okay.
considered essentiel. So she was working like normal, and there was no daycare, and I was at home with 2 kids, and it was crazy. It was so much fun.
The mom comes home, they're doing duck unders.
Yeah.
They're shooting takeoff.
Yeah, no, it was so cool. And like, let's say, like, we wake up in the morning, I take care of them. We go for breakfast. I mean, I make breakfast. We do like a little bricolage. I was trying to keep the daycare theme
Yeah.
going, take them out for a walk and this and that. And then I put them to bed for like noontime, you know, for their nap. I would train in my driveway. I was living in a condo building at the time. So like we shared a parking lot with like other
Yes.
condo buildings or whatever. I'm out there, I'm shadow boxing, I'm doing my burpees, my push-ups, boom, boom, boom. My neighbor's like, what the hell is this guy doing? Like nobody knew me at the time, right? So I was training it up for like 6 months. And then at night, like 5:30 when my wife would come back, boom, I would go train. Go train with the guys, you know? So then, so we had that system going. Then I ended up getting my first fight. And when I knocked that guy out, like everyone in my area knew who I was. So now they understood why I was training in
Yeah.
the parking lot. It was so funny out there.
You come home, you have the new boxing bag.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
supporting
exactly.
him. The
Everyone-
community
everyone-
supporting
community
him.
got my back now.
They
Yeah.
brought him mats.
But it's cool because like yeah, I spent so much time with them. So for me, it's a positive. And me, I'm very like I told you before, like my kids live with me. I don't live with them. You know, so I have a good structure for their life, and you know the Lebanese hierarchy of culture where the kids have to respect their parents, and
Yeah.
so I don't really work for them. You know what I mean?
No, it's true.
I take care of them and their support system, but they have parameters and they follow the rules and they're good kids.
That's great.
Yeah,
Support.
discipline.
Discipline, yeah. You need a good wife, man. Let me tell you, it's important.
I think
be
you
on the
lead
same
by.
page.
I think it's good to lead by example.
Yeah.
It's easier for a kid to listen to you when he sees you work hard.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If he sees you on your ass, fat,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
doing anything, smoking cigarettes and drinking
Yeah.
beer, and you're like,
You're more
do
questionable.
Yeah, it's like do your homework. How about you go for a
Yeah.
run? That's
Yeah,
what he's
yeah,
gonna think,
exactly.
you know. And if you see a fit dad doing what he has to do, always on time, if he tells you to do something, you have no choice but to respect
It
it.
becomes subconscious, basically.
Yeah, exactly. You see him work, your subconscious takes out the fact of questioning. It's like, well, how can I question a hard worker like that? You know what I mean? It
Yeah,
was like this for me. My
Kind-
dad.
Yeah, and kind of like your nephews.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you see them at the gym. Like if they're not in school, they're like
Yeah.
Me, I
Train.
see his
become
nephews a
trained,
lot. Like I seen me and one of his nephew have the same barbershop.
Okay.
So
Okay,
I
okay.
see them a lot. Like I see him maybe like if I don't see him at the gym, I see him because they get their haircut.
Yeah, of course.
One of the nephews gets his haircut on a religious basis. He loves his haircut and insanely respectful children.
Yeah,
Like crazy respectful. Of course, they're kids, they're
They're
young,
boys, yeah,
they're
they're
boys,
boys,
they
yeah,
have
yeah.
energy, but crazy respectful children. And everybody at the barber shop knows them, very respectful.
Yeah,
Your nephews?
My nephews, yeah.
It is
I
on
don't-
Terrace, no?
I don't know. They roast me a lot at the gym. I don't know.
Yeah,
if
they
Bro.
can be bullies, man.
Yeah, man.
they're so
Well,
competitive
I
with
think
each
it's
other.
the culture of
It's
the,
the
like,
culture,
it's
so
the
it's
culture of the
camaraderie
gym. You
of the
know,
gym.
fuck around, laugh
Camaraderie
and
of the
stuff.
especially when I
gym,
get out
yeah.
of shape, man. They're ruthless.
Yeah,
Yeah,
me
yeah.
too. He told me once he came to see me, he's like, I really like it. I had a huge mullet, like huge, puffy. And he's like, yo, I really like your hair. I really want to do a mullet. My dad doesn't want to let me do a mullet. I'm like, don't you ever tell your dad that you want to do a mullet because of me. He'll make me shave it
Do
the
it.
next day. Like, don't ever mention it. And then he's like, okay, don't worry. Yeah, great kids.
Yeah, they're so good. Like a couple of weeks ago, I overheard them. They were kind of trash talking each other. Like, yo, I'm gonna smash you. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna
You
do
should
that.
see when they spar.
Yeah, they were
Because
sparring.
the older guy, he always goes light on the younger guy, but the younger guy goes hard,
It's all hard, man.
very hard. And once I told Noah, I'm like, yo, bro, come on, like, why are you letting him do that? He's like, man, if I want, I knock him out in one day. Let
He's
him
young.
be young. Yeah,
He's
let him
young.
play. I'm like, oh shit, this guy's calm. He's like, yeah, I barely feel it. You see my hair, I barely feel it. I'm like, oh shit, okay. It's a cool dynamic to have.
Yeah,
It makes it very family.
I'm excited to see if they want to do it.
Yeah,
We'll see if they
professionally or
want
stuff
or
like
not.
that.
Yeah, we'll see if they want to.
You're gonna try that with your kids. That
My kids, they beg me to train them.
No,
They beg me. I swear to God, Dad, please, I want to train. I want to hit pad. I want to do this.
great.
Okay, man.
really,
So
huh?
as long as they want, I give it to them. But they're gonna have to have some base.
Yeah.
Because girls fight too. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
You know, my partner
gonna
in
be
the gym,
ready.
he was saying like he just had a baby. She
Yeah.
just his wife gave birth 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And he said that before his wife gave birth, he had a deep talk with her, and he said that no matter what happens, his girl has to get a blue belt in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, base.
And after blue belt, she can do whatever she wants.
Yeah.
She can, but a minimum blue belt. I need her to train like at least a year, know every fundamental aspect of like hip escape, pushing, pulling, this stuff and that.
At least for like
Self-defense.
it's useful for
Yeah,
self-defense.
and then do whatever you want. You don't want to do any jiu-jitsu and again in your life, no problem. But at least a blue belt.
I'll
At
tell
least.
you, like my wife, when we brought our kids to daycare. So how it works here is like you sign up to a website, and the daycare is a lot of wait
course.
list, huge wait list, right? Anyway, so I only got one daycare that would have 2 spots for us. So we go visit and whatever, having our first visit, and the lady was like, the kids at your age, some of them they bite each other and blah blah blah. And we're talking about like 1 year old, 1 year and like 1 month. And I'm like, yeah, I have a lot of nieces and nephews, so I knew about this kind of thing. But my wife, in her family, she's the first to have like kids going to daycare, right? So she didn't hear about any stories about this stuff. So we leave the daycare. She's like, who are these parents raising children that bite other children? They're only 1 year old. Who are these terrible parents? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, listen, I feel like it's natural, this and that, it might happen. She's like, I don't know. It's so crazy. How could people do this? Then we get a phone call. Okay, they're like, listen, one of your daughters is a biter. I told her, You see, 50% of your kids are biters. They're terrible, and we're doing our best, and they're still biting kids. And like it's natural, babe. They have no way of speaking, so they bite each other. It's normal. you know.
Also, they're
Now
teething.
she understood they're teething. Then my biter daughter, she got bit. So my wife, she didn't overreact. She's like, yeah. She's like, yeah.
This
You bite,
shit
you're gonna
happens.
get bit. It happens.
You live by the sword.
You die by the sword.
You know the graph, no? The more you fuck around,
Yeah,
the more
yeah,
you
yeah,
find
yeah,
out.
yeah,
But
exactly.
even in like as they get older in elementary school, high school, there's gonna be problems.
Yeah.
Violence is gonna happen because humans were violent. That's
Yes.
the truth. We're
Yeah.
violent. It's better you know how to protect yourself than not know.
I agree.
That's
Yeah.
the truth. You know.
I have like one last topic I want to discuss because it's a kind of controversial topic, and it's for all of you. It's talent versus hard work.
Yeah.
Like, what's more vital to you? What's more crucial to you? Like, when I say talent, I'm not talking about slept on talent. I'm like talking about an actual individual who works hard just as much as a hard worker. So
Yeah, then he's gonna have the advantage. But the problem really is when you talk talent versus hard work is the guy who's talented most of the time they don't work with consistency because they have that initial ability where when they show up they start off so much better than everybody that they coast on it, right? So the guy who doesn't have that can surpass him, but if the guy with talent has the mindset of the guy with no talent, the guy with talent should go further.
Yes.
You know, because he has both aspects. You know, if you can have both aspects, you're gonna go further. But it's not usually the case. Like that guy is so rare, or that guy or girl, whatever. But the person who has the talent doesn't usually have the same work ethic. That's where
That's true.
the conversation happens. But let's say like Jordan. Jordan had the two. But how many Jordans are there?
But Jordan had the two compared to who? Because if you talk about him and his brother was way
There's
more talented.
Yeah, way more talented.
But
yeah.
he was 10 times the hard
But
worker.
what I mean is like he's still
Of
the
course,
hype. He still had
yeah.
the hype. He still
But I
had
feel
the
like-
whatever.
Yeah, genetically speaking,
Genetically,
yes,
that's what I
yeah,
meant. Like,
yeah,
He wasn't Muggsy Bogues. Like Muggsy Bogues,
exactly. 5'10", 5'9",
whatever. Yeah, not even
No,
6
he was
foot.
zero,
And
and
he still made the NBA.
Muggsy was 5'3".
no,
Yeah, he was tiny.
5'3",
Google it.
he wouldn't be in
Google
the
it.
NBA.
Look, look,
Muggsy Bogues. I think he was
Muggsy Bogues.
5'5",
let me.
5'8".
Let
But,
If he's
uh,
5'3", bro, I'm giving this guy $100 right now.
Yalla.
أنا شو بيطلع لي؟
I didn't
Saad
give
give
anything
50.
back.
Gift card. Tim Hortons gift card.
Well, I get free coffees for 2 weeks.
5'3"?
Yeah, I owe you $100.
Oh,
bro.
5'3". Wow, that's crazy.
I don't watch basketball, but I know Muggsy Bogues.
That's what I meant by talent. Like that's an example of the guy with almost like no physical talent
Exactly,
in the sense
yeah,
of
yeah.
like genetics, and he fucking worked his ass off and he
Yeah,
made it.
yeah.
Tiger Woods too. Like by the way, sorry.
No.
Golf is not really about physical gifts, but
And
if you
I
read
quit.
that book, Talent is Overrated. One of the chapters is dedicated on Tiger and how his parents were retired by the time he was born. His father was already a master golfer. His father had the idea of him becoming a pro. So when Tiger was young, he would sit him in the garage in a high chair, and his father would swing perfect swings in front of him for hours at a time. Yeah, Tiger had his little toys and whatever, and he's like not really focused there for 4 hours, his eyes open watching his father. But the fact that his father was doing it in the background, the perfect stroke, the perfect stroke, the perfect stroke, the perfect stroke. By the time his father gave him the golf club, he's seen the tape, he's seen him do it so many times that okay, it wasn't so bad. And then he was playing rounds of golf by 4 years old. So and then his father kept up the work consistently over time, and that's why he's the greatest of all time. Not because he was born with
It's normalized to
insane-
him.
It's
It's,
normal,
it's
yeah,
something
yeah,
normal.
you know,
Yeah.
So I think
That's-
hard work pays off in the most.
That's what I was gonna say. I think talent wins when the talent becomes normalized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you start hyping the talent, that's when the hard worker wins.
Yeah. Exactly.
exactly.
When the talent becomes normalized, like I feel like it becomes less of a factor. Like, okay, I'm talented. That's not what we're calculating on. We're calculating on here my efficiency. We're calculating here, let's say in MMA, how crisp is my jab? Like, no matter how talented I am, I can always make my jab crisper. And I feel like that happens only when you put talent on the back burner of your hard work. If you ride on your talent, like he says, the hard worker is always going to come up because humans are complacent. We're a complacent species. We once we feel comfort, we gravitate towards comfort. So
Yeah, you
if
start
you're,
slacking off.
yes, naturally speaking, that's how the human species was developed. So if I feel comfort, I'm going to go towards the comfort side, right? And whereas the hard worker, he's always going to have that drive to like push because he's never comfortable. He sucks. I always suck. I got to work hard. I suck. I got to work hard. I suck. I got to work hard. The talent guy's like, I made 5 3-pointers in less than 30 seconds. Maybe I don't need to work on my layup or whatever like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas the other guy who always misses the three. He's like, all right, I gotta fucking work on my defense. I gotta work on this. I gotta work on that. And once you double down in one aspect, I feel like it builds like a routine of hard work, and then you apply that routine of hard work to everything you do in life, and then you surpass that talented, complacent person. You know what I mean? So I feel like, in my opinion, I feel like hard work is a way more important attribute to have than talent.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
You see it a lot in MMA, in the regional circuit. You know, like if you go if you look at pay attention to the regional circuit in MMA, you'll see there's a lot of guys that just decimate everybody they fight on the regional circuit. And it's because I think it's because of their talent. And as soon as they hit like the big leagues, Bellator one or the UFC, you know, they don't do too good. And it's because I don't like.
They got away with a lot early.
Yeah, they get away.
Yeah.
They get away with a lot early. You know, like especially those like you see them. The guys they have 7 fights, 7 KOs. You know, 10 fights, 10 KOs, or 10 finishes, and then they get to the UFC and they struggle. Maybe they don't always lose or they have like a decent career, but they struggle a lot more than they did. Obviously, the level's higher, but it's also like Jad was saying, they're complacent. You know, because if you're fighting and you're finishing all these guys, you're beating all these guys easy. You know, like if you're not a hard worker.
The success.
Yeah, if you're not a hard worker, you're not gonna think that you need to improve anything, right? You're gonna show up maybe just gonna off camp. You're not gonna come and train. You know, only when you have a fight 4 weeks out, you're gonna start training a little harder.
Yeah, exactly.
The best example I have is Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant would blow out teams by like 21 points, and he would after every game he would spend like 3 hours in the gym because he missed one pass. Or let's say he told himself, I wouldn't have more than 2 turnovers this game, and he would have 3. Every turnover would be 3 hours more of work.
Yeah,
So if he had 2 turnovers more than the 2 that he had, even if he had 40 points, he would be 6 hours in the gym after working on ball possession. If he said that he would shoot more than 40% from the field and he shot 38, every percent was 3 hours more at the gym. So he would spend,
it's kind of crazy.
and he was the best player.
Yeah.
He was arguably my favorite player.
Yeah,
ever.
yeah.
And,
Exactly.
he was talented. He played professional basketball in Barcelona at 14 years old. But was he a hard worker? Probably more than every single other talented player in the league.
Yeah, he had both, and he took
Yeah,
them,
but he doubled down not on his
yeah,
talent. He
on
doubled
his
down
hard
on his
work,
hard
yeah,
work.
yeah.
Yeah, he didn't need to do 7 hours more at the gym,
Yeah.
but that's what he doubled down on, and I feel like that's what made Kobe the greatest competitor. I feel like he was the greatest competitor I've ever watched. I'm a huge basketball fan. I love basketball. I love Michael Jordan, LeBron James, but nobody competed like Kobe.
Like Kobe.
But
A ferocious competitor.
you know, when it comes to the fighting, or I think MMA more in general, it's I feel like your physical attributes and your genetic attributes, they are important, but it's not the end all be all. Like in a sport where like sprinting, you know, like in sprinting, talent is the most important thing. Your genetics are the most important thing. Like, you know, I could train 10 hours a day for 20 years. I'm never gonna beat Usain Bolt in a race. You know.
Yeah.
No matter how,
There's a famous sprinting coach. I can't remember his name right now, but he has a quote. He said, "I can make you faster, but I can't make you fast."
Oh shit!
Yeah.
So
I like
you
that.
have
You have to be fast when you
have to
come
be
see
hot
me.
already.
Yeah, yeah,
And then he can shave off a few seconds. He can make
Yeah.
you a little bit faster.
Yeah.
yeah. Milliseconds, maybe. Yeah,
But he can't make you a fast runner.
yeah. I'm not gonna make you run the
But
40.
it's a perfect example.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like-
there's certain things you can't do in life. Like
Yeah, yeah.
like,
Like
and
a
we
football.
have to accept that fact.
Yeah.
Like everybody says you can do whatever you want. No, you can't do whatever.
Yeah, you know, like football
Exactly.
has the combine, like
Yeah.
the NFL combine. Like when you go see a coach for the NFL combine and you want to run the 40 dash, nobody's telling you, oh, I'm going to make you run the 40 dash from 5.6 seconds to 4.6. If you're running the 40 dash at 5.6 seconds, yeah, the maximum I can give you is maybe 0.1, 0.2,
Yeah,
maybe
slightly.
0.3, yeah, because that's your genetic peak. This guy next to you, he's never going to train. He's not going to do anything.
He's gonna
He's
do
going to
it
play
as
20 years of football. He's going to be 41 and still run the 40 dash faster than you
Yeah.
because of a genetic
See,
pool.
that's why I liked. That's why I was actually like I felt like fighting was something that I could do.
Yeah.
It's because no matter like I was a fat, like I said, I was really fat. I was like, I think I was 230 pounds at 15. So like, it's big.
Alhamdulillah, man.
Yeah. Now I'm a little less right now. And
I'm 222 now.
yeah, but fighting like you know, it's really a thinking sport. You know, same
Yeah.
thing as pure jiu-jitsu.
chess, basically.
Yeah, exactly. It's human chess. You don't need to be like when I thought I wanted to start fighting, you know, yes, I was training, but I was still like overweight. I wasn't in shape. and I didn't think like, oh, me being like this is gonna hinder my ability to fight, you know. So that's why fighting is so it's so freeing, you know. And also it's also why hard work is more important in fighting or in jiu-jitsu,
Yeah.
because it's so much more important to work hard on like on your skill set more than just, you know, your physical
gifts.
appearance or your physical strength, you know. It's of course at the highest level that's what makes the difference, you know. Like uh like someone like Khabib that's been wrestling since he was a little kid, you know. I can lift as much weights as I want. I'm not gonna be stronger than that guy, especially when we lock up, you know.
Yeah.
It's so yeah, skill, like hard work and fighting is so much more important compared
Jiu-jitsu
to
is
other sports.
Jiu-jitsu is a great example. Like most of the jiu-jitsu guys are very non-athletic.
Yeah.
The very great jiu-jitsu guys are born non-athletic, you know. I feel like it's
There's a lot of equalizers in martial arts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
Skills to neutralize people's physical gifts.
Yeah.
That's what's so good. And MMA
Yeah.
too, in the same sense that you can be less gifted physically, but if you have skills to leverage your own physicality, you can overcome someone.
Yeah, kind of like
that's why
fighting.
IQ.
IQ is super important, and that's why you see, like, let's say like NBA and NFL, a lot of guys hit their peak at 25.
Mm-hmm.
Or in MMA, a lot of champions become champion closer to 30,
30,
and they don't retire till 35, 37, 38, because it's not only about physical attributes. It's not only about reaction time or explosiveness. It's about the skills that you can leverage to overcome the other guy's physical attributes and skills. So that's why it's like more of like a thinking man's game in a sense.
Experience is one of the biggest factors in martial arts compared to other sports.
Yeah.
Like guys come in their rookie year in the NBA and they blow out veterans that are all stars.
Yeah.
But in MMA, it's very
much harder.
super hard for you to
Yeah.
beat a veteran MMA
Yeah.
fighter in your
Yeah,
first fight.
we're seeing it now with the tough 31.
That's what I was
Yeah,
gonna. That's
yeah.
what. That's my
Smoke
point.
show right now.
That's what I was gonna bring up. I was
Yeah.
gonna be like, well, look at these guys. Like, this is all the up and comers, and all
Versus
the other
vets.
guys are the washed up guys that were cut from
I
the
got
UFC.
fired, man. Yeah,
It's
exactly.
good,
Cut
man.
like you
They're
said,
getting
yeah.
the shit beat out of them. Why? Because you can't buy experience.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm walking in and speaking from experience of competing in jiu-jitsu. The guy who controls the nerves the best usually comes out on top in the situation. Like I feel like when you have a lot of butterflies, you're stressed, your heart rate is up.
Yeah, it's normal.
You come in and then you get depleted immediately of your adrenaline, of all your energy. Whereas a vet, an experienced guy, he has breath work. He knows where to put himself in a mental state where he can calm his heart rate down. He knows how to be more objective in his approach, be less of a like emotional, you know. And I feel like that's a big factor in
More
combat.
control, basically.
A lot more controlled, less panting, less, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, more zoned in, focused. And I feel like that's things that only experience can get you.
Yeah, yeah.
That you can't get it. You can't lift weights and have that control over your butterflies. You
Yeah.
can't run and control it. You can only get it from experience. And I feel like that's what MMA has different than any other sports. It's like, oh, I've been here. I know what to do. Like, even if you're good, you're up and coming, you're young, this, that, and the third, let's see you in the ring control your nerves. Let's see you control your breath when I'm on top of you. Let's see you lose one exchange and not dig yourself in a hole. Like, veterans, they lose an exchange, they back up, they focus, they come back.
They
Yeah,
reset.
yeah,
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know what I mean? And I feel like that's a huge component of martial arts.
Mhm.
It's like experience.
Yeah. All right, guys. This was really amazing, and
Yeah,
thank you guys for
Thank you.
coming.
Thank you for
It
having
was
us.
fun.
Yeah, it was great. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, me too, man. It was like so super funny. So hopefully we can do it again.
Yeah,
that'd be
And,
sick.
just one last thing. Tell us about 450. Just,
Oh yeah, I have a jiu-jitsu gym in Laval, 450 Jiu-Jitsu, where I teach grappling. I'm very happy to be able to do that with the support of my coach Faraz. I brought up the idea to him. I told him I want to do it, and he said, I'm forever grateful to him in the sense where he didn't ask anything from me. And we have a great facility here in Laval, Chamedy, on the highway. So if ever you're looking to do some jiu-jitsu, don't be shy. I go train at TriStar as much as I can to get the highest level techniques from Faraz, and I try to come show it to you guys. I'm still a purple belt under Faraz. I have a long way to go in my jiu-jitsu journey, but you can hop on the train and follow with me, you know. And yeah, that's it. 450 Jiu-Jitsu, TriStar Gym. You know what it is, man. You know how we do it. That's it.
Okay, thank you guys.
Thank you,
Thank
man.
you guys.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.